When we last left off, our intrepid, thank you, heroes uh, came back to Kyrania City after having restored their friend Alba from being a stone creature into a elfoid. They're very pretty. It turns out, according to Steve's examination, that she had turbo cancer right before she died. But when you revived her, that seemed to kill that off right proper. She is now the perfect picture of health.
Oh, she's anything but the perfect picture.
What do
Wait until she
you...
starts trying to eat. She has no gut flora or anything like that. That didn't fucking
Yeah,
revive with her ass.
we probably had to start her on some like pretty tame foods.
I mean, the
Yes,
first thing
like,
she ate was fog. Anyway. So, yeah, you have
Wait.
recovered Alba's flesh, and she is crashing with Theli and the wife puddle for winter. And everyone went their separate
absolutely.
ways to go hang out with their various friends, love interests, patients slash test subjects. So let's pretty much go across the board here and remind ourselves where everyone is and what everyone's up to, more or less. Steve, where are you and what are you doing?
Well, first and foremost, I need to get to the core chorus, but for that, I need to bring the thing that I need to get to the core chorus with. That would be the most optimal thing. That would be Lord Andy, the
Alright,
patient in question.
so I am going to require you to make a persuasion check against him because you are asking him to, leave the duchy, effectively. And the
Yeah, I
city
know.
is
It's
in, a pretty constant state of crisis. So he's
yeah, I know,
reticent to
and
leave.
I like just a minute. Okay, so where's my character sheet? Go. I will tell him that uh, working at the core chorus would significantly speed up both my research and the time it would take to complete anything, both medicinal improvements for you and the work.
Yes.
That will be, as I said, optimal. You got the patients, you got everything there, you got to, and you have the medical staff who there already. So I wouldn't be, and you can bring, as I said, will be bringing whatever safety retinue that you deem necessary. And I understand it's a, I would, as you see, understand, reticent to leave while everything as it is. You're a figurehead, you're a person of power, but and I want you to keep that going. Like I said, the most optimal would be you coming with me to the core chorus. We get it done as fast as possible, and they get you back.
All right.
Hopefully, if I have some form of moments of brilliance and breakthroughs, we can hopefully get you back before New Year.
All right. And it sounds
That's
like
my
Theli is giving
yeah.
you advantage during the dinner she's scheduled with Andreas and Anastasia. So, yeah, I
Mm.
think you can have advantage, and yeah, your argument is enough to make the check in the first place. Otherwise, it would just be a flat no. Okay, go ahead and roll.
Okay. Oh!
Okay. So,
Steve.
Andreas is amenable to this. He's not super happy, but the argument you have made, however, does bring one potential drawback, in that if you're saying, well, it'll be so much faster if we go here, if it's only going to be before New Year, the Duchess is going to be strongly considering coming with you, which may or may not be to the city's advantage. So I'm just going to have her make a wisdom save to retain her impartiality and remain in her position of authority rather than coming to
Yeah.
stay with her husband.
I can also
Okay, the
help
Duchess is coming with
argue
you.
with that.
Nope.
I was gonna put Savin. I was gonna say a little word for that to give her advantage.
I don't think.
And I will tell her
I
that.
don't think there's any giving her
you-
advantage on the save, unfortunately. Ability checks, yes. Saves, no.
Well, inspiration. That was
She
Yeah.
will not take it. She is coming with you.
okay. Then, well, I understand.
So, for good or ill, the Duke and Duchess will be out of town for the next couple of months.
Hopefully, a couple of weeks only.
Hopefully.
Oh dear. That's
So, yes. A couple of days after the party returns to Corania, the Duke and Duchess will quietly abscond off with Steve, leaving Chancellor Gold in charge of the town. And then, yeah, Steve, you are at the Choral Chorus. You have access to its various facilities, and your work proceeds apace. How many days of work are you dedicating to your studies here?
How many days do I need to actually work through it? That's the question. I already have 3 days started, but you
Alright.
never said how much I need to
So my
dedicate to succeed.
baseline was going to be 60 days.
Okay, so it would be 60 days, down to 57. So 57, and then all work here is accelerated by 50%, so by 100%, so it's half the time. 57 divided by 2 is 28. Or 29, let's round it up for 29, because I think that's what you want.
Yep, sounds about right. So you will be finishing
then,
up your work on the initial research
do.
project, it sounds like.
And I do have my own abilities to improve.
Do you have things that improve research time? I know you have a bunch of stuff that helps with crafting time.
Yes, this is for... I am crafting. It's researching and crafting.
Well, no, it's 60 days for the research. Then you have to actually make the potion. That's another thing.
Okay, so it's still... Okay, then we're down to 27. 27 days. Yeah, 27, 57, sorry. And then that's 29 days.
Okay, so that's 29 out of your 36. Technically, that'll be 30 days, because it does take you a day to, get out there.
Yeah, that's still that half day. That's why I rounded up. So I rounded down, because I was done way before. Because
So,
it's 27 and a half. This is 28 and a half days, so I rounded up.
okay.
So you got that extra half day of time to get out there.
I mean, it takes a full day to get out there, but whatever.
Hmm.
So, now you have finished your research, it is time to start to craft the initial potion. Now, you have access to most of the things you need out here. It would help if you had monster parts based around regeneration, but I don't believe you do at this time. So you'll have to sort of improvise.
I do have the potions that I
You
was
do have
going
the
to use, and
potions
I have...
of the druidic potions. They do help. Those I believe
Yes.
you were using as like the baseline material components.
Yes, and I have a single fucking rose that's been saving.
Yep. So that will allow you to craft the initial one without having to go and get any like special components.
Yeah, so to make the multiple ones to slowly... To make the
Yes.
batch, so at least it lasts a while.
Yeah, you'll need special components to make a large enough batch to continue working, but you can make your first experimental version right here, right now with what you have.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be a rare consumable. So, it is still a consumable, so it does only take 7 days to craft if it's more than uncommon. So, you will not have to pay anything for this. The duchy will fund you.
Yeah,
And I believe you do have
it...
crafting time reductions of your own.
Yes, and any magical crafting area is also reduced by...
Yep. So it's like 2 days for you to make the initial one.
Yeah, let's see. 7 by half is 3, and then it's like...
Well, it'd be 4 because round up.
Hmm.
And
And
then
then
you have
4,
what?
take the value to 3.5, and then 40% of that. So down to, yeah, under 2 days.
Yeah. So 2 days. All right. And then yeah, you have your initial version of the potion, enough to try it out on them. So we'll get back to you in a minute. Felly, you are
Me?
vibing in the city.
Yeah.
Now,
So, my holiday actually still began with finishing off Tori's last week of training. It was also a nice opportunity to meet Hortense and see Tassie again. Pick up some like really fine stone to bring back and work on in my free time. And generally, just to be social in general. And then, yeah, after that, it was a return to the city for the wife pile. For a lovely meal with the ducal family and, bigged up his rare recovery to Steve.
now, before you get to the wife pile, while you and Tori are down in Igniferus, you said you were going to see Tassie again. She will ask you a question. She, if you recall from very early in the campaign, had asked you to look into the Dawnblades. And she will at
Yes.
this point mention that the High Priest of the Dawnblades, Theodrix, has stopped replying to her messages completely. And so, you guys have been in the duchy while she has been here. What's going on with them? What's up?
So how much do I know about Theodoric? Like, my memory's a little bit on the hazier
Didn't-
side.
Didn't we see him at the Dragon Church?
Yes, you saw him give a mass the day before the big break-in, and then never saw him before or after.
That's right.
Yeah, and I will recount as much to Tassie.
All right. She is concerned by this, whatever happened to that window seems deeply suspicious to her, but she equally has no idea what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I'll go over all the points. Like, we were pretty strenuous in investigating the area and the window and looking for anything missing. We'll bring up that there has been an unpleasant necromancy cult in
Yeah.
action. Which
And we,
may or
like,
may not be pretty valid.
Yeah, we augured that it might be connected to that.
That is true, yes. I will also mention there was an augury towards this.
That's concerning, but like, unless a fucking necromancer was trying to sneak in to like defile the temple, then question mark, question mark? Which doesn't seem to have happened
Not,
as far as you guys could
not,
see.
not that temple, or at least not yet. But they'd been sneaking into every abandoned temple they could find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunately, Tazzy doesn't know what to make of that either, so we'll just suggest you keep an eye on things.
Yeah, honestly, all we can really do is just hope things don't get worse.
Yep.
And they should be more vigilant about the whole thing in the first place, which hopefully in turn, if there is shady business going on at the top, then it's going to be harder for them to get away with. Yeah, things
Hopefully.
being above or beneath their notice.
But for now, it seems all you can do is wait and see.
Yeah. I will ask if she and the Lady Hashat would like a statuette made before I leave at the end of the week.
Absolutely.
So what are the odds that it just ends up looking like one of those throne commissions?
Yeah, it's absolutely gonna be like Hashat's sitting on her throne with like Tassie and a couple of the other wives just, Conaning her legs.
Yep, fair. Then yeah, and I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah.
I certainly appreciate the aesthetics of a lot.
Yeah, you can score yourself a sweet hundo GP and room and board at their keep while you're working.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, while you're away, Siren will have arrived at Brynna's house. Now, this is pretty much like cheap council housing. Row houses built as efficiently as possible to get as many people off the streets as possible.
Yeah.
But Siren is a lady of means and a eternal homebody, so by the time you arrive, she has already started sprucing up the place. She's replaced the bed with a bed big enough for the four of you. She's started digging out a basement and has got nice glass windows for the like 2 whole windows in the entire building.
Fair. I see her as a like a second floor balcony garden kind of girl.
Yeah. Ideally, yes. However, there are like freshwater rations at the moment, so there won't be much like beautiful flower gardening as much as she'd like to.
Makes sense.
Instead, she'll be digging out like potatoes and onions in the basement and just casting daylight down
Nice.
there.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, onion.
Onion and potet. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I've returned to the city, there is the meal with the ducal family. They're all welcome to come along. But then indulge in some quality time. I've seen before, but like it becomes pretty obvious that Reese starts to get like kind of fidgety, maybe like energetic if she spends like a long enough period of time without testing her own limits in some kind of way. And it's clear that she sort of finds an outlet in taking people for winter hikes. This ends up including Tiana, Scruffles, and the House Knight, the girls as well. And she helps them with skill training. It was nature for Brynna and alchemy for Amelie.
Yeah.
And also, was it nature or alchemy for Tiana?
Nature.
Nature.
Which is
Nature for Tiana
helpful
as well.
for her since she is a primal sorcerer in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. And it becomes her out. Like, she doesn't really work on herself necessarily outside of, like, healthy exercise and eating and maintenance, but she is more than happy to help train others to, uncover their potential or help them realize new things that they want to be or can do.
Yeah.
Clearly something she vibes on. Otherwise, I think that's it up until the new year.
Yeah. During this time, Alba will be spending a fair bit of her time meditating upon her past. Unfortunately, it remains just a haze to her, though she is at least able to finally recall her full name.
Summerthorn. Oh, that's a Albiana Summerthorn. Lovely.
Hell yeah.
A luscious name.
She definitely sounds like she comes from a place that has fantastic pasta. Albiana is like it sounds. No, Albiana is like it's got that vibe of someone who happens to have a really fantastic family lasagna recipe. My bechamel will make you come. We'll go on the finest of lasagnas.
It turns out that yes, in fact, she does make a fantastic lasagne.
Hell yeah. A fine lasagna.
Lasagne.
I dropped my lasagna. The most tragic image
My
ever recorded.
lasagna!
My lasagna! Sad face.
Lasagna.
It really is a legitimately tragic image.
Once this surfaces, Siren will immediately begin teaching Alba how to cook again. Something she has not needed to do in like a century or so.
Yeah, gets to experience a world of flavor.
Taken directly to Flavor Town.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of towns, Vale.
Yes, hello.
Hello. A couple days after the party splits up, you arrive at Three Oaks, where Lady Dolores and Felicia have been assigned. And as stated in our Discord, once you arrive there, you are able to lift the fog of war for the party of what's been going on up here. It's been rather hard to ascertain details until now, but in the past, the city of Three Oaks was protected by the castle of Baron Aster. I say in the past because recently the castle was completely and utterly sacked in a midnight raid by the orcs. The Baron and his knights are unaccounted for, but the vast majority of the castle's troops and servants were butchered. The only saving grace for the event is that the Baron's bastard Talir daughter was able to escape in the night with the help of her nursemaid, fleeing through a secret passage into the town. But the
Thank goodness for secret passages.
The castle has been burned and rendered by and large useless until it is substantially repaired, a task that will be very, very difficult with raiders basically camped over the next hill from it. And so, when you arrive, you find that the knights have begun entrenching themselves around Three Oaks itself, quickly building wooden palisades and earthen trench lines to give what defense they can to the town. When you arrive, of course, you are given great big hugs by Dolores, who is weary but happy to see you. She's limping slightly from her beloved Destroyer being shot out from under her by a orc with a great bow.
Oh no.
But luckily, the camp's medics have her pretty much back to full speed by now.
Oh, good.
And you will have the opportunity to at least see the Lord General of the Coranian army, Leonard Carr, Anastasia's younger brother. Has taken command of the field himself. For if Three Oaks falls, so too does the capital in short order. There is a straight shot through the forest, right to Corania City.
Ugh.
You will also see that wizard that the hunters back in moose bearer we're talking about. An elderly tiefling fellow, Erasmus Dusker, who, as promised, is
Whoa.
delivering unto the city a great and terrible weapon to be used against the orcs. Though
Oh.
what it is exactly, you aren't able to find out effortlessly, at least. Dolores does not know, only that the Lord General has allowed him to do as he pleases, and told everyone to give him a wide berth. So, Vale, what are you getting up to during this month or so of downtime? You and your
Well,
fucking
I'm
boats.
Well, I guess I'll... First, I suppose I'll see if Dolores received my letter.
She did. In fact, she was in the process of writing you one. Unfortunately, she has not had the time to send it yet, but
That's all right.
she has been very interested to hear of your exploits lately. It is a totally different world from the dreary doldrums of trench fighting,
Hmm.
and she desperately wishes she was doing that instead of this.
Well, I thought she could use some company over the winter months, so I found my way up here.
And she is happy to have you indeed. Fortunately, it does not make for the most romantic of winter getaways. Most nights there is at least a fainting raid from the orcs. A couple of sentries get shot at. Somebody goes missing in the night, and scouts must be sent out to find them. Rarely alive.
Well, romantic or not, it is not very important. I am simply happy that to be spending time with her.
And she, you.
And I did bring something for her. A couple of things. Um, what, as a out of a curiosity, in the encounters we've had, what does her equipment look like? Is it masterworked or just regular?
Let's see. Nope, she has plate armor, but just a regular sword, lance, and long sword.
Okay. Well, I thought perhaps maybe you could use some things to, well, keep you safe. So I'm going to present to her a masterwork longsword.
Hell yes. She will take it gladly with the promise to lay low many a tyrant and monster.
Wonderful.
Something you may well get the chance to witness.
Oh, of course. While I am here, I am certainly not going to sit by and not participate in any kind of defensive actions. I am here to help.
Outstanding. In that case, I will give you an option, Kina. If you would like, you may sacrifice 10 days of your downtime here
Okay.
in order to make an ability check of your choice, in order to impress the knights here, to gain a tremendous bonus to your reputation.
Oh,
Because Vale is, by any metric, a hell of a fighter, and that flail of yours turns out to be a real advantage against a bunch of nimble raiders.
Oh yeah, the hamstringing and restraining. Yeah.
Yeah, you are a bit of a hard counter to the way the orcs like to fight.
Okay, that's sure. I can do that. I suppose Intimidation would probably work.
Absolutely. And remember, you can Glorious Presence to give yourself advantage on it.
I shall.
For Veil is nothing if not glorious. Okay.
14.
Tain't bad.
Decent.
Yeah. You will gain a reputation as an implacable defensive wall against which no foe can escape. You are basically a living quagmire for these raiders. Yes.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Following that up, I suppose I should ask, while it is difficult to find time alone, it is by no means impossible. And, of course, Dolores is eager to spend time with you as she can. Would you like to take your relationship any further in those
Oh my.
few nights alone of peace you can squeeze in?
Oh my. Oh dear.
Ooh la la.
It will be Vale making the first move here, if she desires.
Sure.
Okay?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's go.
Alright. So,
Do it.
I would like from you a persuasion check. While it is obvious that Dolores is interested in Vale, that much is clear to literally anybody who isn't named Arlene. There is a hesitancy to her regarding intimacy that you have noticed in the past, and that seems to be coming to a head here when Vale
my.
begins to step closer. Let's see if you can get the rest of that story out of her.
I definitely would like to know more about this.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Nice.
at some evening when it is just Dolores and Vale alone together, watching a sunrise, and Vale begins to move past just holding hands and the first rather chaste kisses. Dolores will gently push you back and say that she is unsure about where this is going. Not because of anything you have done, she will say, but you are the first time she has been intimate with anybody in her life, knowingly. For she will tell you a story that many years ago, a bit over 20 now to be precise, Dolores was like you, a knight errant, questing for justice to protect the downtrodden, and she was sent to apprehend a thief, a rather notorious brigand by the name of, let's see if I can find it here. Yes, Mark Hansen. Not a murderer, but a rapacious scoundrel. And unfortunately, he got the better of Dolores. He was able to overpower her in an ambush, knocked her out, and then escaped. Well, let us say that 9 months later there was an Arlene.
Oh dear.
And Dolores had sworn a vow of chastity before then that had been broken. She nearly lost her status as a paladin, at least in her own eyes, and has, well, never had a partner before or since. And she wants it with you to be special. She thinks she's ready to move on past that. But if it is all right with you, she does not want to do it on the front lines of a war. She wants a fairy tale almost, something to completely wash away those dark and dreary memories of her past.
She wants to be swept off her feet. Mark Hansen. I want to remember that name.
If you want, you can make a history check on it.
Sure. Why? I can just give it a go. Oh, shit.
Alright. Yeah. Well, you can't be certain about it, per se. You do remember back in town, the house complex that Leonora and Brenna used to live in. They had a groundskeeper named Hansen, who Arlene was bizarrely obsessed with.
Oh, the really angry guy that Steve.
The one who leveled a crossbow at Steve.
Yeah, the one who almost Castle Doctrine Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So it is... I don't think Vale ever saw him per se, but you certainly know of him if Arlene's correct in her assessment.
I see.
But at least now you know whereby Arlene comes to her roguish tendencies.
Okay, I'm just gonna file that bit of information away for now. Well,
Don't worry, Kina. I have enough acid. They will never
I
find
don't
the
think
body.
Vale's the type to lynch him.
Lynch? No.
Let
I
us
have enough
us,
acid.
like, get him.
I have enough acid. There won't be any trace.
But yeah, if you are content to take Dolores up on her desire for some grand fairy tale date to finally reach that point of climax in your relationship, she will most certainly nuzzle up under your arm and watch the sun set. Before, inevitably, orcs raid the camp and you have to go kill a bunch of people anyway.
Well, I will certainly give her a hug and tell her that I'm very sorry to hear that her past was so checkered. That's unfortunate. She's experienced a great pain, and
Yes,
it would be utterly tactless of me to simply push forward without regard of that. I certainly respect her far too much to do something like that.
She appreciates it, and in turn hopes that you and your friends now perhaps will not think too harshly of her and the way she and Arlene get on. Dolores will admit that as much as Arlene does look much more like her than Hansen, she is a sort of living reminder of what happened.
Arlene's a good girl. I've seen her come through many times now. She is very brave.
It is, and I couldn't be more proud. I just wish I could show it to her better than I can. Yeah.
Oh.
The two of you can nestle in and enjoy your days together.
To that promise, I would like to give her a. I was going to get. I was planning on doing this anyway, but I would like to present with her. It's not a extremely expensive one, but it is a nice little ring, a promise ring.
Well, especially if you are delivering that after her tale, that is going to just make her break down and cry tears of joy. And of course, she will wholeheartedly accept.
Hmm.
I shall add that to her sheet. And I cannot wait for the future where Arlene continues to just have no idea what that means.
Oh, Mom has a ring on her finger now. Oh, I wonder what that is. She must have gotten that from up at the Three Oaks.
Yeah, it's a friendship ring.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that.
No, they're just best friends. No, they're just friends. They're just friends. And then, like, the stage is like, oh, they're kissing there. Oh, they're just friends. Marrying. Oh, they're still friends. It's like having kids together again. Oh, they're still the best of friends.
Best friends.
Best friends.
Best gal pals.
Oh, the VTubers.
So, speaking of larger-than-life characters, Tori.
Woo!
I hear you have some
gaming.
babies.
Woo! Gaming.
Like,
So many.
Pretty much
Jumpers.
right after you arrive in Igniferous, it is time to drop some Egos.
Heck yeah. Probably would have been on the way.
I don't think you were cutting it that close, but it's pretty close.
It was 7 days left when we got back down from the top of the mountain.
I have a side question.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Was
Okay,
it
you would have had, I
passing-
think, 2 days to spare by the time you
Oh,
get to
okay.
Igniferous, assuming you take a boat ride.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, you deliver to the world your eggies in town. You meet your no longer tiny daughter. Rosetta is now like a 16-year-old by human standards.
I will have out and introduced everybody while Theli was still here. And then after that, my time itself would consist of like making sure all my orders got put in, ordering several different things to be made like by the end of winter. And then like several outfits, like an armor for me, a couple armors for Theli's mercenary company, and some other cool outfits. And then would have been hiring somebody to help me learn Primordial while I am taking care of kiddos.
There's 35 of them now? Hashad, please, what have you done? There was,
Can't
was
stop,
only
won't stop.
there was only 14 of them.
Yeah, but it's been like
Dear
200
God.
years and they don't ever die.
Dear God.
What do you mean 35?
2,500 cow elves.
Huh? Wait,
Cow
what?
folk.
10,000
3,000.
kobolds.
That's 3,500.
Dear
No,
God.
3,500 cow
35.
folk is just minotaurs. Cow elves are the ones that are the
New
crossbred
Yeah, and
children.
Savin, move. Give the
many
give them
violins.
space. So it's Kina can see it.
Dear God.
See.
2,500.
Cow elves, yeah.
Hashad has bred into the world an entirely new race. I am so proud of her. I've never been so proud of one of my characters before.
My dude, you literally have the goddess of fertility up your asshole, powering you like a fucking nuclear battery.
And speaking of they just don't die, I encourage you to enjoy Hashot's little caption. She mysteriously just keeps being around despite being just a minotaur.
God can't kill her if she just says no.
She'll go when she's good and ready, and that isn't yet.
She has to
No,
have at
because-
least 69
because
elves
they
in her
go-
harem.
No. You know why she can't die? Because the god of death has a restraining order.
Legally not allowed to come near. What is it, 10 feet?
Yeah,
No,
10
30
foot.
feet.
No, I'm pretty sure it was just 10 feet, because otherwise you couldn't dungeon delve together.
There was a picture. There was like there was a picture.
Yes, there is indeed.
There was a photo of that. Or, like an art drawing.
Here, let me see if I can
Yeah,
find that.
That's
real quick.
that's why she hasn't died yet.
I mean, it makes sense. Its own twisted way. 15 feet. There you go.
Yeah,
15 feet.
So yeah, Tori, you are able to deposit your eggs, squish daughter, get your training. During this time, Dia will realize that her tummy is growing a little, which is concerning.
Hell yeah. I will, like, basically do what I mentioned in the RP chat. The, like, first time she alerts me to that fact. More RP went on than I thought. She'll she'll like cut out an entire slate of day just for pampering and cuddles. Apologize for being reckless because she has no idea. Despite like having 9 kids now, she's still not the greatest on the how it works between races. She'll mention that she'd love to spend more time with her. She's kind of boring when it comes to magic stuff, but she thinks it's super cool. She'll ask if if the knowledge of how Cambion babies work is inherent, but if it's not, then she'll try and find a wizard.
She has no clue how any of this works.
Oh boy.
Brooke was apparently the pull-out queen.
Yes, I am not.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Hortons has a present for you when you, like a couple days after you return home and after Dia makes this announcement.
A cock ring?
He presents to you a box of 100 centaur-sized condoms.
Attaboy.
I mean, I also now have the 12 months of contraceptive tea that I left on the table when I went adventuring.
Does that include the wisdom to actually take the tea, though?
Yes,
Hortons will
it is
gently
now.
but firmly push the box towards you.
I take them anyway, just because that's cool. Some people like that stuff. But yes, I have those, and now I have the tea.
Excellent. Surely you can't get more pregnant again, right?
Surely we won't. Surely in this setting we won't run into any like brand new gods that ignore contraceptives. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, that would be pretty fucking weird. I mean, it's weird
But
that it
yeah.
happened once. It clearly can't happen more than once.
Not a chance. But yeah, I will also uh in that like first week when I'm introducing people to people, uh I will introduce uh Dia to my wizard moo cousin who lives somewhere in Igniferous.
Yeah.
The one who I got the art of but did not give a name. Well, I probably should have gotten on that first, but I did not. Yeah, if she still wants to learn like non adventure magic stuff or like uh more non combat wizard business. I'll ask if she has like time to if she has time if she can give her some training.
Yeah. I mean, hell, Dia's thing already is earth magic with her, like, one spell she can use, really. And
Heck
summon earth
yeah.
elemental. And it turns out you came to the one-stop shop for earth magic.
Hell yeah.
So if she
See,
wants
I'm
to
smart when it
pursue...
comes to magic things.
Yeah, exactly. So if she wants to pursue a career in wizardry, she's certainly in the right place. Although,
Heck.
according to Dia, the first thing she wants to do is establish, what did you guys call it, a brothel?
Yeah. I will help with that too.
Alright, Tori's working the glory holes. Hell yes.
Oh,
I'll help with establishing it. I will probably be a little busy to help with it. Although, like, I will bring up after seeing the like crazy cool bathhouse in Corania City. Uh, Tori totally wants to have a like super cool big like brothel bathhouse make a combo in whatever like city gets founded way off in the future.
Yes, that is... Given where you are, hot
Long-term
springs
goal.
might be a better idea than just whorehouse. Yes, Dia sees the wisdom in this.
Yes.
But yeah, you are able to have a successful little
Yeah.
excursion. And during y'all's time off, you will get a letter from Kate saying that she, her parents, Mare, her sister Beth, her daughter-in-law Liss, they are all going on vacation together to Blackfin Isle to do some charity work helping the refugees set up their new little village. She wishes you all the best.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Harleen, of course, is off doing scholastic stuff, but well, Steve is there as well, so you will get to see her running around tending to the lighthouse during the evening and like grinding the old knowledge stone during the day. And in fact, she will call you over at some point to demonstrate her new spell she has developed. Arlene Shadowstride.
Ooh.
Whoa.
The pride.
She got a gold star in the class she took.
Impressive. What?
So Steve, as, you know, a registered old fart, how does it feel to see, like, this teenage human you picked up on your way, like, in the span of just a few months, become, like, able to cast more powerful magics than you? How proud is the old man, deep down inside?
Well, I'm very proud that he has managed to achieve such great feats of arcane prowess. She is quite ahead of any arcane predecessors.
Whether Steve voices this or not, Arlene certainly knows you think it and will give you a big hug once she's finished demonstrating the spell for her teachers. Couldn't have done it without you.
Well, you did put in the work for it, but it was a little bit rough keeping you on the path of studies there. You had the frequency to disappear.
Yeah. Without your, stewardship, I might have just turned delinquent, but... I mean, no, I'd have got here on my own eventually, right?
You get there. Now just you got there on your own 2 feet. That's what you should be proud of. What I didn't drag you into it. I didn't pull you. I didn't push you. I was just walking next to you. So that's all we did. No, everyone was with you on the journey, and you made us by your own by your own power.
No. Thanks, Steve. Still, it's been a pleasure of a lifetime traveling with you and all the others. Never thought I'd be a bona fide adventurer, much less a mage of this ability. It's exciting, you know? Seeing all this change going on in the world and being a part of it, being able to help people.
Yeah, it can be done in any way, shape, or form, but the more your power grows, the more access or burden you are with responsibility. Well, since the world's oh, but she's such a powerful mage, what isn't she helping? See, societal burden.
You see Arlene look past you for a moment and nod solemnly. Well, the Duke and Duchess are nodding in approval at that, so I suppose I got no choice.
Yeah, but
My favorite speech, with great power, etc.
well, yeah, with great power comes great burden of society. Great
Great
demands.
societal pressure.
Exactly. The higher you rise, the more you the higher you rise, the easier you will be seen, and the more people will look up.
Yeah. And speaking of looking up, things are looking up for the Duke. Even with just that one small potion, it's enough to give him, well, a week or so of restored motor function. He had been looking a little on the rough side there at the end of winter, but as you get that potion into him, he is in fact able to take Anastasia dancing for the winter night party the college has. They tear up the dance floor just like old times.
I'd be like, you. My brain's like, oh, you should not be doing that. Oh, you are so burning through the restorative properties there. Like, but fuck it, I understand him.
Yeah.
Yep.
He
I'm
has the
sure it's like if your
opportunity.
old ex-wife had been like,
He ain't gonna pass it up.
yeah.
You can see a almost childlike smile on Anastasia's face as she's dipped and twirled by her husband. Yeah, that is how the new year is ushered in on the chorus. Back in Corania City, we pick up with the only of our friends who is still in town.
What's
Good
up,
gems,
it's your
being more
girl?
chop.
It's your girl, Theli, with the big wife puddle and also Alba.
Yeah.
So, just like
There is
Wife
a
on
Puddle
nice
and
New
Alba,
Year's.
it's the name of your band.
there is a big party throughout the town as the year comes to a close, while there is still pretty strict food rationing, and you hear more than a little grumbling throughout the month from the townsfolk as they are stretched to the limit of their endurance by this. Even Amy can assure you that it seems like the city has enough food to last through the winter, as long as they keep this up. And what they don't lack for, at least on this day, is booze. For it runs freely through the city with the new year. A few of the apprentice mages throw fireworks spells into the air, a few fireballs and radiant spells detonating in the sky. Somebody even conjures an illusory dragon to sweep across the top of the city. Incidentally, you
Nice.
can't find Amy for a couple of hours during the course of the party.
Is it possible to have, in the run-up, organized like a great big, massive communal stew in the new town? You know, get a bunch of people to pile in their rations so that everyone can get a big fucking meal.
Yeah, absolutely. Siren is more than happy to help with that.
Yeah. I don't want any a single hunky tumby or a person who's just like worried about the meal of tomorrow when they're looking towards a new year. So probably do my best to organize something like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of the town's disadvantage to more than appreciate that gesture. You'll see Bobby and her friends running around with little cups of stew and small sweet treats Leonora's been baking in the meantime. She's willing
Sweet.
to go a little hungry for a couple days herself to make sure that her daughter and her friends have some nice cookies.
No. Yeah. I say I'll like for those who have the means, I will ask them to put some in for the big communal stew. But for the most part, I have a lot of money. I'll go to merchants who might have been, let's say, potentially stockpiling, and I'll buy from them. So if it's more expensive, then whatever. It means I'm not like using money and pressuring someone whose bakery is like at its limit.
Yeah, I think you'll have the ability to find some folk like that, especially with Brenna's knowledge of the town now quite complete as a bailiff.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll go to food scalpers. I'll also do my best to talk them down a bit in order to be good advertising for them. And I think that, word of mouth of a great big New Year's feast, having some merchants as name to it who had been probably engendering a really bad opinion from the people for potentially holding back. And see if I can't smooth things over for both the needy and the needless at the same time.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Throw me a persuade check. Let's just see how many merchants you can get on board with us.
Sure.
You can have an advantage from Siren coming along,
Woo!
doing her bard thing with you.
Yeah, sweet.
Nice.
I'll chuck a knack in, might as well. Yeah,
All
there we go.
right.
If there's a 25 threshold, I've bumped it.
Yeah, most of the merchants who had been holding back, the last reserves of nice meats and imported potate from Igniferus, something that is normally quite frowned upon, but some merchants have gone under the table to make that happen anyway, given the circumstances. They'll tighten their belts
Look,
and
man.
pitch in.
Look, man,
Yeah.
beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah,
It's true. It's like the reality as well is like they've had now a good season and a half to like watch the town get up in arms about there being like less food. It's the kind of thing that like when people are getting real drunk, you absolutely don't want them being like, oh yeah, there's old man blah blah blah's shop. Let's fucking smash it. Let's crystal knock these fuckers.
yeah.
So yeah, I just do what I can to try and keep the town happy, especially in the absence of the ducal fam.
Yeah, indeed. Chancellor Gold is doing what he can to keep order in the city, and there's an unusually heavy presence of city armsmen and dawnblades, especially in Newtown, where the, let's say, less responsible individuals might be disproportionately present.
Fair.
But
Yeah.
things proceed apace without any particular incident. Having Amy in town, along with now the legendary bard Siren, has done quite a lot to keep people on their best behavior in this part of town. They have quite literally seen Amy turn people into toads for misbehaving.
Yeah, it's no longer called doing crime anymore. It's called doing toad maxing.
No one is calling it toad maxing.
Damn it.
Road risking.
Toad risking, yeah.
Toad risking, yes.
Yes, crime has been renamed to risking toads.
Certainly in this part of town, and thanks to Brenna, the Red Wolves have not been able to get their claws into Newtown, at least not as much as they might have liked. This could easily have become a gang-run slum, but you have a number of responsible people here who are more than capable of smacking the shit out of little Red Wolves that get out of line. And so your town seems contented enough. The New Year's proceeds. But eventually, all of your hard work, Theli, you will be dragged away from it by the wife puddle, because it is fundamentally time for you as well to relax, have a few drinks, and snuggle with your girlfriends.
Sure. I do drink, but I drink super lightly because I've very recently had my liver opened.
Yeah, that is a fair point. I am just going to roll some con saves for the ladies, see how smashed they get. Amy getting particularly drunk is possibly a war crime potential, but I'm sure that'll be fine.
Look, if I'm
Okay.
the sober cab, then I'm.
Oh, well,
I'm
that's
here to
one
make-
down. It's
All right.
two down.
So I really am wrangling my drunk wives by the end. Okay, me and
Brent
Brenna.
is fine.
Okay, good.
All right.
I have help.
The muscle girls are going to have to drag the noodles into the house and just keep them occupied
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
the evening.
yeah.
Which, fair enough, frankly. So yeah,
I'm more than happy to keep them occupied.
And that is what you are doing when, Theli, you hear some pretty distant shouting. Uh, Normally, that's a thing that happens in parties, but this doesn't sound like drunken revelry. This is panic, terror, alarm.
Uh-oh.
Fuck. Okay. I am not going to take the greatsword because that's if there are a bunch of crowds of people, I really don't want to risk nailing some civilian. I will go with the Hawk's blade and shield.
All right.
I'll ask Brenna to get me in my armor so that it's quicker than me going alone.
All right. So yeah, remember what armor do you wear at this juncture?
Breastplate.
Okay, so it is medium armor. It does take you a minute to get into it.
Yeah, can I halve that time then by having
Yeah.
Brenna squire for me?
Yeah. While you're doing that, though, could you roll me a perception check? Let's just see if you can make out anything of what's going on. Yeah, all right. You're hearing screams of fire. And indeed, through your nice glass windows, you can see a bunch of people forming bucket brigades, like, down by the river, and they seem to be rushing towards the docks.
Ah, fuck. Okay then. I am going to call upon Tisa as well and her folk. And leave Brenna here because I want to pull a bunch of the new town guards with me as well.
Understandable.
I'll, like, hoist the banner aloft and get them moving.
Yeah. So you respond quickly to this call. You get out of your house. You are in armor with weapons, banner hoisted, trying to rally the city guards. When you hear a catastrophic explosion, there is a mushroom cloud from the docks.
Someone blew up the grain silo.
The grain silos.
There is a ungodly pillar of fire on the horizon, and then a shock wave that blasts through the city, even all the way at Newtown. You can see a flash inside Brenna's house as a shield spell goes up just before the windows explode.
Fuck. Wait, it's a flash. I didn't notice anything. I'm like, what happened? Is everyone okay? No, I probably know what an explosion is. Yeah, I would know what an
It's
explosion
something you
is,
can
even if I'm not
feel.
being...
Yeah, you
Yeah.
feel the ground shake. You see windows being shattered all around you. And a whole lot of screaming.
And yeah, I will say, got the guards, got Tisa, and I'll be like, all right, let's fucking move. Let's go, people. Anyone who is like first aid as well, that would be excellent to have right now. And yeah, have Brenna make sure that all the kids and Newtown locals are okay. While Amelie and Siren sleep it off.
Yeah, they're not quite asleep anymore, but they are a bit too inebriated to do much more than protect themselves.
Yeah.
They're gonna sober up real fucking quick.
They're gonna have
it's
to.
true. There is nothing that pulls you together quite like a hilarious adrenaline dump, but yeah.
And yeah, Theli, you
Yeah,
make...
Syrian can purge themselves of poison, so...
That is true. They'll get themselves together soon enough.
She does not actually have Lesser Restoration prepared today, unfortunately.
Nope.
She does have this, though. I mean, there's that. She can blind the glass when it tries to cut her up.
And yeah, I will go about as it happens. I have spared the dying as my new cantrip of the selection, so I can also, quickly stop or anyone who's in absolute shit state might have gotten caught by something.
Yeah, there are definitely people who were standing way too close to windows or whose ramshackle little shanties exploded that you will have the opportunity to save.
Yeah, I have a number of cure wounds, but I think I'm going to have to save those for the grain silo, the people who have hit points to fill that are more than one. Instead, yeah, civilians will get spare the dying as we go.
Yeah, that makes sense. It takes you, even at a steady jog, the city is just big enough that it takes you about an hour to jog from Newtown at the exterior of the town to the docks, which are on the far end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you arrive, you see that, yeah, this grain silo was almost a wonder of the world, a huge complex dominating part of the coast. It is now not a crater, but just a flattened plain of metal and charred wood scattered around like a shotgun blast into the sky, raining down bits and pieces everywhere. Several nearby homes are ablaze, but bucket teams are valiantly fighting the fire. It smells like burnt bread around here.
Yeah.
And there's just a crowd of people who have gathered, just watching in horror as the city's primary store of food is just gone now.
Well,
Oh boy. Okay. Considering we have to start in Newtown, how large now is the group of like gathered guards and helpers? Because I will have probably been trying to rally them as we pass through the city itself.
Give me either an intimidate or persuade check. Yeah, the Coven Stones built that thing. They are not going to be happy someone or something destroyed it. Alright.
16, armor, chuck a guidance in, you never know. 17.
Alright. Yeah, with your banner raised aloft, and people in this town by now know you. They recognize the Black Knight in her attire. You have like 170 people, mostly guards, but some Dawnblades, some just armed, concerned citizens with you.
Yeah. Those who look capable of like handling a weapon, perhaps, but not so much in filtering their way through the grain silo. I'm gonna ask them to cordon the bridge in case there are terrorists who try and sneak all the way back. Like, don't go manhandling anyone. There's a lot of scared villagers, but like, if you see anyone who appears to be wearing a uniform or like masks and shit like that that aren't for keeping smoke out, detain them.
Okay.
I can probably afford like 20 people to like ring the bridge and detain anyone who's fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely. Since you're asking them to detain people, that will purely be a force of the guards. They're the only ones with the authority to do that.
Yeah, they're the
legally.
authority to do that. Yeah. So yeah, I'll pick off 20 guards. Ones who are perhaps like, you know, they've come along and they want to help and they're caught up in it. I don't really want people who can't manage to walk into a fire and get killed. So anyone who would be better served as part of a cordon, I pick them out.
Sure. And yeah, if you're talking about going into like the blaze there, the Dawnblades who are with you will volunteer. They have an innate fire resistance. It's part of their order training.
Excellent. Similarly, I will. What's a good way to fucking protect myself from fire?
I mean, do you have resistance from energy or protection from energy?
No, I do not. I have Vital Aegis. If I were to activate that and then dive into a fire, I would have resistance for like passing through a wall of it, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you'd have like a turn of it.
Yeah. Cool. Then I will. Oh, you're fucking right. Yeah, I'll just like fucking snap open my. How much do I have? I guess because I'm gonna end up feeding it to civilians to get them in this fire as well.
You only have one meal of cinder bacon
One ration's worth.
which is 10
So
people.
like
How many
enough
people?
for
It's 10
10
people.
people.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, loading up myself and 9 others.
And
The
you've
healthiest
got
looking lot.
Some Dawnblades again who have the fire resistance natively, so you've got
Yeah,
like
they'll be fine.
20 people with you.
All right, excellent. Yeah, in we go. Let's rescue anyone who needs rescuing. Find anyone who's looking particularly menacing. And
I'm gonna try to save what can be saved.
yeah. Like if there are like sacks that haven't caught fire, I'll be like, fucking grab them, get them out there. because not getting food out is as dangerous as not getting a person out at this point. I'm going to be a little bit pragmatic about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in this case, I think a survival or investigation check would be most appropriate for finding survivors and valuables left.
Alrighty. 17. I'm currently in this place, so it will have been my natural explorer, the coastline.
Yeah, makes sense. And plus, you got a bunch of people actively helping you.
Would you?
Yeah, I will.
Would you like an inspiration?
I've got an expert's knack still. I'm gonna, and this isn't like 17 is not a bad result. I'm gonna knack. I'm gonna save any inspiration taking for if things get real bad. 20.
Okay.
Yeah, 20.
I'm happy with a 20.
Yeah. There aren't any like workers left in the silo itself. If there was anyone in there, they were probably vaporized. But there were people who were outside it and who are now in the wreckage field that you are absolutely able to pull out. They are badly burnt, and many of them have been oxygen deprived from the smoke. But you are able to send some in to extract them.
Like, Spare the Dying doesn't necessarily care what the origin of dying is, right? So if it's smoke inhalation or if it's injuries.
Yeah, as long as the cause of dying has stopped. So once you get them out of the smoke and they can start breathing again, you can restore hit points or stop them from, taking more death knells.
Do any Dawnblades no spare?
A few of them, but these are mostly like paladins. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they have cantrips, they're probably like Beacon of Light and stuff like that. Guidance.
Hey, I mean, if that ever helps as well, like, I'm sure Beacon of Light, it's a beacon of light.
Yeah, it helps to cut through the smoke for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
A lot of these guys have the ability to make their swords like blaze with holy fire.
As long as it's a different color from normal fire, otherwise people are not running towards that shit.
It's more of a golden fire, but in the smoke it can certainly be hard to tell.
Yeah. If it's a light source that doesn't like literally look like licking hateful orange flames, then we'll live with that.
Yeah, I think that'll make sense. And yeah, with a 20, I think you'll be able to rescue probably not even a full ton of food. There are some sacks that somehow miraculously got blown away instead of being vaporized and contributing to the explosion. Probably things that had been pulled out of the silo ahead of time to like be ready for tomorrow's feeding of the crowds.
Yeah, if there are any like overturned wagons and stuff, check underneath them. They will have been protected initially.
Yeah, wagons and stuff. There's still one wagon miraculously has survived basically intact. One of its wheels got blown off, but it is able to be refitted by some of the civilians with you. You can use that to transport things and people out.
Excellent.
But fundamentally, like that, maybe 2/3 of a ton is a lot less than the hundreds, if not thousands, that are in there.
Yeah.
And by the time
every little bit helps.
You are finished, by the time you've decided there's nothing left to be saved in there, Chancellor Gold will have arrived on the scene, demanding explanations from whoever is around, but there is really none to be given. The people who arrived here came well after the explosion. It's the people on the ground writhing in pain who can tell the tale, if any of them saw anything at all.
Yeah, I'll let Gold know that, like, if there are people who know, the closest ones would have been the ones that were Spare the Dying in the epicenter might be the ones who know they are unconscious and in no condition to talk yet. We can only hope.
Yeah. He will nod at that, but say, condition or not, this was no accident. It can't be.
No, definitely not.
We need to know who is responsible.
Yeah, is there anyone among the rescued who looks like they might have been a guard? Like
a higher rank?
Yeah, like a silo guard or anything like that. Because if there is, I'll burn a cure wounds to take them from unconscious to Ike.
No, it would appear that the silo's guards are conspicuously absent from the survivors.
Fair enough.
Hmm.
Wow, that
Are
sucks.
are they also conspicuously absent from the dead?
Now that is a good question, and one I would like an investigate check to determine the answer of, if you deem to spend the time on it.
16.
Alright, yeah, I think... shit, the average, knight and guardsman probably doesn't have investigate terrain. Do you have advantage from some other source? Let's see if Gold has it himself. He does, actually. Okay, so yes, you can
Okay,
get
cool.
advantage.
Oh no, I've already done a guidance, and I've done my max. Yeah, I'm out of ways to make that any better. I would totally not turn down an inspiration then if someone's got one. See if we can go higher than 16.
Very
In
well.
this specific case, I feel like 16 might be good for, like, just that.
True, but like higher than a 16 might actually identify
Yeah.
someone in
Fair.
particular of importance who's missing.
Fair.
Use mine.
Thank you. Nah, okay, no better.
Alright, a
bad.
16. Yes, several guards are counted amongst the dead. You can't find all of them, but also you cannot find all of everybody who is here. Some have
No.
simply been
Yeah.
reduced to smithereens or blown into the water. So it
Or
is...
chugs.
Yeah, exactly. Hence, smithereens. It is unfortunately impossible to say if there's any conspicuous absences, at least until time is spent gathering all of the remains.
Okay. Let's see. I guess I'm gonna try and do some CSI shit while there might still be signs further away of like boats moving up saboteurs, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Alright, and that will probably be another investigation. If you'd like, alright,
23.
that works.
Nice.
Yay! I was due at least one of those, good Ross.
Okay. So, you don't find any, conspicuous getaway vehicles. But you do notice that there is an entrance to the sewer whose locks have been disabled very close by to the silo. In fact, it might have been inside one of the outbuildings, a direct poop chute, if you will. And when you take the opportunity to peer down inside, there is a rowboat down there, which
Fucker.
ought not be. But it was also most certainly not taken as a getaway because, well, it's still
No,
here.
that means that people have akbarred. I'm gonna pop the lid on this and see if the boat's full of like fucking incendiary letters and stuff.
Yeah, I'll keep that same investigation check. There is no material evidence left in the boat. It is completely empty, but you are able to see that there is a... It's hard to smell anything specific down in the sewer. This place is notably rather rancid.
Yeah, I'll get low to the boat itself.
Yeah, exactly. Once you're down in the boat looking around, there is absolutely a notable chemical smell to it. And you can see that there is a mark on the side of the boat. Probably the ownership from a rental company, perhaps? Or some fisherman's guild? You're not quite down with the mechanics of the local guilds to know for sure. But it is
Sure, I'll take a rubbing of that for gold. And with a 13 alchemist, 20 if I've got any alchemist assistance, would that tell me what the concoction is?
Yeah. I don't
What
think
the
you have any
chemical is?
assistance here, but still, you are a trained alchemist. You have no problem identifying this. Someone was bringing actual alchemist fire.
Okay. to me, that screams Conradists. But I also, if it had been them, would have expected this boat to be full of, like, fucking paraphernalia,
Yeah.
leaflets and posters and all of that bullshit. Indeed, I will tell Gold as much. Like, it, this looks like damages the Conradists would do, but at the same time, like, it doesn't fit their MO to have just, like, a simple fucking random getaway vehicle with nothing in it, or an arrival vehicle with nothing in it.
No, I disagree, actually.
Yeah?
If they'd wanted to take responsibility, of course they would have left their calling
Oh,
cards
of
here.
course.
But
Makes
if they mean
sense.
to stir up the ire of the people, to turn them against us, well, who better to take advantage than those who have been decrying our Lord and Lady the hardest?
That does make sense. Though it would be strange to do so before we separated for the winter. My companions and I actually took down a militant sect of the bastards.
Mm.
I wouldn't have thought they'd have anyone left ready to do, like, a final decision, make a horrid explosion, but...
An
Shit.
operation like this, unfortunately, wouldn't have taken that many people if they had a trained alchemist or pyromancer amongst them.
They definitely had pyromancy, but I can smell alchemist's fire here.
Is there any conclusive proof that it is who it is? Something we can feed to the people to ensure that they don't take advantage of this crisis they've manufactured?
Does this signage make a sense to you?
He will take it and produce some reading glasses from his coat, examine it. The Longshoremen's Guild, men who load and offload cargo ships. They would certainly have had access to the facility in the past.
If this was taken or loaned, they might know by who. I suppose we should probably figure that out before some of those longshoremen realize they might be implicated and decide to cut and run.
Indeed. I will leave that to you. I am going to return to the keep and... He will tap his
control.
chin. Make sure that we have some evidence against them. Whether it will hold up, gods only know.
Yeah, I mean, goodness knows, like, there are so many of those pamphlets hanging around. I bet there is, even if it were considered fabricated, there are probably plenty of pieces that say that, you know, the grand fire will come and yada yada yada, show the people what it means to be hungry, etc., that kind of thing.
Exactly.
I would be genuinely surprised if there weren't actually valid evidence, even if it weren't them.
Precisely. It just remains to be seen if the people will be able to put the pieces together, or if they will simply lash out. He will glance from you to what is now a growing crowd of people descending upon the site. And our window of opportunity for that grows narrower by the second. Excuse me, my
I've
lady.
been going to a number of efforts to try and shrink the distance between merchants and the people. Hell, Newtown was fed out of mostly merchant coffers this evening. I'm hoping that that's going to keep people from doing something too reckless.
Yes, we can only hope. Well, that is Newtown. They may be numerous, but they are shielded from the rest of the city. These people,
Fair.
he will gesture out, these are the citizens we have had this whole time. Those who trusted us the most, and trusted to our protection of them. As I say, excuse me.
Yeah. And I will make for the longshoreman again. I feel the Dawn Guard and... Well, no, the guards are needed, like the normal city guard are needed for maintaining things. I'm gonna recruit these Dawn Guard as accompaniment for now.
Yeah, you've got like a dozen of them or so. The city guard that you had with you, while quite numerous, now seem pitiful compared to the growing mob around the site. There is a
Yeah.
lot of angry shouting, despairing wails. And people already know what this means, what is to come.
Yeah. Anything I can do about that? I've done all I can preemptively. And then, yeah, off to the docks. Gonna hunt out the longshores.
That is not a hard task. They have a sign out over the large building that is their guild house, though at this time of evening it would normally be locked up and closed, but now there are armed men standing outside. The doors are barred, but there are no lights inside. They clearly do not want to be robbed, given the chaos, but nor do they want to draw attention to themselves.
Yeah. Other people standing guard. What do they look like?
They look like red wolves. Now you recognize their crimson capes and their hefty truncheons. They give you a deeply suspicious look as you approach.
The longshoremen under your protection?
One of them will nod, and the other will say, "This entire part of the city is, Lady Theli."
Of course. Look, I imagine that the great big fire in the silo is as bad news for you as it is for everybody else. We have evidence that whoever performed these acts took a boat from the Longshoremen's Guild. We need to find out who might have owned that boat before it is too late.
If it was marked for the guild, no one owned it but the guild itself. It is used to move cargo. You won't find some particular scoundrel who's missing one, if that's what you're asking.
And they don't get rented at all?
They shouldn't be.
Right. Let's go check and see if this boat is, missing in dock. And I'm going to act like it is natural to, involve the Red Wolves in this. I'm just going to try and get them caught up in the moment.
Alright. I will ask for a persuade or deception, but the DC is pretty low. They
Sure.
are not happy about the situation by the looks of things either.
21. I'll get them in. I'll get them in the gang. Red Wolves and Dawn Guards, shoulder to shoulder, trying to figure out what the fuck happened.
Yeah. The Dawnblades look at you reproachfully as you just casually walk up to these obvious criminals, known fugitives from the law, and they know you by name. But, again, exigency being what it is, no one will say anything as you are admitted into the
There
guild
aren't
house.
many people who don't know me by name at this point in time.
Certainly not people who are important, but these are just goons.
I guess.
The Black Knights, come on.
Yeah, no, but
That's
but
the whole
I'm
thing, the
not-
Black
I'm
Knight
known
didn't
by
have her
epithet.
name.
Yeah, I didn't have a name.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Yeah, well, regardless, I'm hopefully this has, got the Dawn Guard just as involved in the whole ordeal that,
Yeah, like I said,
so-
they're not saying anything, they're just, unhappy about having to work with criminals now.
Yep.
But it is what it is.
Sometimes it is what it is in the middle of a crisis. So yeah, get them all involved. I bet that there are more than a few Red Wolves who have an investigation training.
In this case, not these thugs, no, these are, like, intimidation and stealth guys. These are your kneecap breakers. You will
Sure.
be on your own, but I'm not going to call for an investigation check just yet.
Okay.
The information you're looking for is pretty easy to find. There are a number of guildsmen who have gathered here in the building. They look dazed, confused. There's a lot of arguing and shouting. People accusing each other of having perhaps been careless in the placement of the grain. They clearly have no context. This was a bombing. Perhaps someone just left a spark or a cigar going and lit the place up.
Yeah, I'll give them all a sharp whistle and bring them into the huddle.
Yeah. You can bring them up to speed, but they immediately just say that there's no way it could have been someone affiliated with them. Impossible. These people are patriots who love their town, and more importantly, they live here. They wouldn't do something like this.
Okay. Do you know anyone who's been casing the joint recently? People who have been looking for an opportunity to steal the longshoreman's boats, because one of your boats are implicated. I do not want this to bring your guild down, so help us help you.
Not that they have seen, but they can certainly tell you once you start talking about the boat that yes, several of their ships were stolen in the last couple of days. They hadn't reported this to the guards. They will look at the Dawnblades suspiciously, but the Red Wolves will nod and say that they had been informed of this in the recent past.
Okay.
So
I will sidelong glance the Red Wolves. Are all of these ones missing boats to blame on people unaffiliated with yourselves? Good time to be honest.
we don't steal from people we're protecting. They pay us good money.
Alright.
That
fine.
said,
That's all I
Theli,
needed to know.
could you make a perception check for me?
Yeah, absolutely. No idea if any of them are trained in it.
Again, let's see if the Red Wolves are. Unfortunately not. Are the Dawnblades? I don't think so. No.
I'd have hoped a wisdom skill would be there for her view.
Your
They are
ranger
paladins.
thing
They are
doesn't
charisma based.
Yeah, I'm a ranger, but I don't get that for perception. I get that for survival and nature and investigate. And only investigate in the case of, like, animal hides and stuff like that.
help.
Use my and Skow.
Alrighty. 23.
Okay.
Better.
Thank you.
The longshoremen, of course, have said that they are not involved. But you do notice, or did notice, before you started talking to them, more than a few of them have small little torch pins on their cloaks, or sitting on their belts. And they make an effort to hide those from you as you begin speaking. But your senses are sharp, and you notice that detail before they can completely obfuscate that, terrorist or not, the communists certainly have a lot of influence in the longshoremen's.
Yeah, click my tongue at that, and I'm gonna go with the old casual, just like lean on one of the Dawn Blades. Make it look like I saw something on his shoulder. In fact, they probably do just brush some fucking soot off of his shoulder from the fires that we've been in. And I will mutter as much into his ear. Or her ear.
Shall we take them custody, lady?
Just don't let them leave. We'll take custody if we don't find anything useful in here. If we take custody now, then we're going to scramble the rest of the guild.
Yeah, the sergeant of the group will motion to a couple of his men to just fan out and take positions around the doors. Just gonna make a check to see if these guys notice anything amiss about this.
Whew!
Nope. At least for now. They are, of course, working together, so they will catch on once they start talking amongst themselves, but you have a few moments at least before they realize the jig is up.
Then, yeah, I think now is probably the time to quickly toss the place and investigate before it comes to any kind of a scuffle.
Yeah, alright. So, one last investigate check.
Come on! Oh, damn it.
Anybody else have inspo
Can I
left?
suck up anyone else's delicious inspiration?
It's not like we're using them.
I'm afraid I do not have inspiration.
Is Ashe secretly holding on to any?
Let's find out.
Hey, Kate, she
He
handed
is
out
not.
for...
Kate's not with Ashe at the moment. Kate's on the island.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you handed out before.
Wait, Arlene? No, Kate wouldn't have it, but Arlene might.
That's
Arlene
true. She's
also-
just a
Ah.
human. She just kind of has it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she just has human inspiration. You're right.
All right, that is the last one available to the group. Since
Okie dokie.
she hasn't needed to roll anything, Kate has been fighting monsters on an island, so even if she
Yeah.
had inspiration, she'd
Yeah.
probably have used it.
All right, I look away. I can't see it.
You improved it by 5% on the die.
Yeah. Damn.
I haven't had a chance to get back any of my knacks, and I've used a guidance, so I have no way to improve that roll.
All right. Then yeah, you could swear you see that there's some sort of logbook, but one of the longshoremen very quickly makes that disappear before you can get to it. And then there is a lot of angry shouting as they realize they have been surrounded by men in armor. And yeah, there's probably going to be a fight unless you do something to step that down, but it's going to be a hard test. But you're pretty sure the Dawnblades will win. there's not much.
Yeah,
hope
I
of
just
a
I
bunch
just
of
don't want
longshoremen.
it to be a especially bloody struggle. You know, Ironwood does force damage. I'm going to crack like a just like a fucking foot down onto the ground. I'm gonna Ironwood my sword and just tap it against the floor so there's a nice big force thump
Boom.
and try and intimidate them.
All right.
Holy shit, I didn't expect to pass that one.
Nice.
Nicely done. All right, yeah. The men were starting to shout that you have no right to accuse them of anything, that you're trying to put the blame on them, to make them take the fall for someone else, but before they can start grabbing for truncheons and bottles and the Dawnblades have to pull their swords, you are able to cow them into submission.
It has been a long night. I have been elbow deep in the flames, pulling survivors from them, as has all of the Dawnblades here. There are untold losses to lives, and there are going to be untold losses more to starvation. I recommend you not do anything stupid, because I cannot guarantee your survival.
The men will stand down, and the Dawnblades at this point will have to start pulling out manacles and slapping them onto longshoremen. The Red Wolves at this point are not happy about this being the outcome and are going to just slip away into the shadows unless you try to stop them.
I'm not going to cause a
physically.
fuss with them to scarper. I'm going to stop one of them to speak in their ear, and I will in fact ask them to get the message out. You need to find Conradist leaders and find anyone who might have organized this. You guys could do a lot of good for your reputation if you succeed and help.
All right. They'll do what they can. But for now, the longshoremen are taken into custody. The Dawnblades... these guys are technically lawful good, but they are on the, brutal repression side of lawful good. They seem pretty happy to just lay the blame on these fellows and take them to the gallows. It seems
I
clear
will
to
look
them.
at all of them and tell. I will look at them and be like, look, no. If you start gallowsing these people, the truth dies. Whether they're responsible or not, we can't prove. Just sending them to the to hang is going to lose us this city. You can't afford to do that.
Fine. We will take them into custody, but we will not hold them long. The
Understood.
Archpriest will have to weigh in on this. It'll
Of
take him
course.
2 days to get here at most. 3, perhaps, for you're lucky.
Indeed. Yeah, I want to make it as clear as possible that all of these people here have friends and families, and voices travel at an incredible pace. The city is going to be at its leanest and most ferocious at this point. Taking lives right now, 10 lives here could cost us, as I say, the city itself. It doesn't take much to spark. I like pause. I'm not going to finish that metaphor. That's really not a good one to use right now.
Yeah.
In fact, stopping there before I begin that metaphor, I think, does a better job than finishing it would do.
Yeah, fair. Alright, the Dongblades are going to haul the guildsmen they have to the keep.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to pull up this logbook.
Unfortunately, I have to ask you, what logbook?
Oh no.
Fuck.
By the time you stand these people down, that book, if it was ever here, has disappeared.
Damn it.
Bastards.
Well, if the Red Wolves took it, then hopefully they'll realize that logbook could be used to do them a lot of good by finding the one responsible. If it's been dumped
If it wasn't
off.
given to somebody who's in on it.
Yeah, it's true. It's entirely possible it was. But hey, I have done my best to keep people as level about this as possible.
Yeah.
I'm sure none of them, if they knew this was the case, wanted thousands and thousands and thousands of people to die.
Mm-hmm.
I can really only hope. That's all I could do. I have tried my best at this event.
Alright, so it is time for a couple of other people to try their best. So, I'm going to roll a couple of checks for some other people. First, Marius to keep order in the city. Okay.
You go fucking Marius.
And
Get
then
'em.
time to manufacture some evidence before
Oh, yes.
Theli tells him he has okay.
He's
Okay.
fucking on top of it.
This is in fact literally his job.
Hell yeah.
And now for the Dawnblade's commander to ensure that the keeping of order does not turn particularly bloody.
Hell yeah. He's
Yes!
also on top of it.
Okay.
Fuck yes.
Jesus.
You will hear that there are some sporadic riots in the city, but bloodshed appears to be kept to a minimum for now. However, as
Thank fuck.
the evening turns to day, you will have a summons to the keep from Chancellor Gold.
Yeah.
When you arrive, you will see Sir Jagan and Tiana are in the foyer of the keep. Jagan is pacing nervously with a couple of warhounds at his heels. These are not the big, chubby fluff balls that Scruff is. These are huge, muscular mastiffs.
Yeah. I'm probably still, like, fucking... I probably just reek of fire.
Yeah. The dogs growl at you as you approach, but he just clicks his tongue and they sit back down.
Yeah, I just grumble at them. At ease, it's been a long day.
Brr. And Gold will approach you quickly. Lady Sable, I have good news at least. My archivists have been working as hard as they can and have pieced together some rather convincing communist propaganda. The flames of liberty will burn bright before this city falls, etc., etc. It's food for the masses, but it should point them away from us for now. Though there is a complication to that. We'll gesture across the city. People are tense. If we feed this to them, there could be a purge in the streets of everyone who holds that belief. These torchbearers have been spreading like... I will not say wildfire, but you understand the meaning, I'm sure.
Yeah. Fell into that trap myself recently. Yeah. Godfell probably hasn't slept yet. She's just gonna rub the bridge of her nose. Okay.
Listen, I'm going to distribute this as best I can. But still, these are going to be a dangerous few days. The Lord and Lady Carr absent, I am going to ask you to do the House of Carr a favor, my lady. Gesture
Very
at
well.
Tiana. The young lady here is precious to the ducal family. I'd like you to get her out of town for a few days.
Of course.
I would prefer not to know where. I
Not a problem
do
at all.
not believe the keep will be sieged, but it is not impossible.
Of course. I have a few ideas. Don't worry about it.
And I will leave you to it.
Very
And
well.
if you are the praying type, the city could certainly use it.
I certainly am, and I will anvil gesture as well.
He will make the sign of Narend in response. Your god's son.
Yeah.
Very well. To it then. He will clasp Jaegen's arm. Come, we need to work. Quickly now.
I'll make sure the Egan gets a good arm-to-arm clasp, just so it feels like a passing of the matter instead of me just absconding with that. I'm sure it would hurt his pride otherwise.
Yeah, he will give you a firm nod, tell you to take care of Tiana, and he and the boys will follow Chancellor Gold.
Alright, good luck. Yeah. I think my first plan, after a trip down to the wife pile to make sure everyone is okay, because again, probably have barely been home and have yet to sleep, and I probably still have some burns on me. I'm probably still injured in some way.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for sure.
resistance
Thelia's
is great,
gotten
but
pretty sooted up, but luckily you've been traveling with a bunch of paladins who can just chain lay on hands you and each other, so you're not as bad as you could be.
yeah, I'm probably down vitality then more than actual injury, so I'm just looking a bit drained.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll make sure all of them are okay. And then I'm gonna take everyone up to the Pagothian mission.
Okay. Yeah. So who is everyone? Just these four here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, wife pile, me and Tiana.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna ask if Tisa can, for the next couple of days, do Brenna's job and help keep everyone together.
The salamander looks genuinely quite afraid, and will say, I can try, but this is the sort of thing where I usually get lynched. I would be running for the hills at this point if I could.
I'm gonna pause and 1 second. Go into my belongings and come back. I'm going to hand her the metal Black Knight mask I was using, and I will hand her the standard. Obviously, they'll know it's not the original me, but hopefully that will keep your reputation clean enough to help.
You're entrusting me with a magic item and your champion mask?
Yep.
Are you insane?
A little, but let's face it as well, I also know you're not stupid enough to do anything stupid.
Being in the city is stupid, but fine.
Yeah. I will hand her standard and mask and give her and the lads 10 gold just to keep them stripped for the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully they will be able to keep Newtown intact. And also, I do kind of want the Black Knight to be seen as an identity anyone can take up in order to do good.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right,
So,
yeah, and I'll take everyone up to the Pagothian mission.
can indeed. Where normally this place is like a beautiful bard's retreat with flowers everywhere and beautiful statuary and a fountain outside, now it has revealed its true colors. There are armored slats pulled down over the windows, and about a dozen elven heavy bowmen are outside, weapons at the ready, behind a set of barricades around the gate.
I don't blame them. It's wartime protection.
Yeah, the embassy is in lockdown, but they will open them for you and Tiana, if nothing else. Especially when they see Alba, of all people.
Yep. Yeah, right. Fucking Alba's got to give them all a goddamn heart attack. It was like, close the gates. All right, open the gates a little bit.
Yeah, it is absolutely one of those moments where it's like, alright, it's Theli, open the gates a little bit. What the fuck? It's a high elf. Open them all the way. Fuck it. And you are ushered inside before they are slammed closed again, and 2 ranks of bowmen take up position once more. There are a couple of bloodstains out on the street where you suspect people have already been feathered in the leg, but no corpses at least.
Well, that's something at least. And yeah, I'm going to go and see if Lady Acacia is available.
By a definition of available, yes. Her office is in crisis mode, and she's clearly just woken up and is like 3 cups of coffee deep, but she will see you.
I will ask if she's willing to share any of that coffee with me. It's been a long night.
Yeah, one of her servants will pour you a cuppa.
I will thank them in Aelven.
And Alba is going to get like weighted on hand and foot by very confused looking elves.
Yeah, how does Lady Acacia react to seeing Alba?
Where most of the elves are like, whoa, one of the great ones. Acacia looks at her with a deep and abiding suspicion.
Wait, no, Acacia has seen Alba as a statue before.
Yes, she has.
Okay, that's fine then.
I will just remind you of a couple things real quick here, if you will permit me.
Sure.
Let's see, where is this bust?
Oh, of course, Summerthorn's a cousin family too. Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's certainly possible, but even if not, there's
Yeah,
certainly a
Galen look real
resemblance.
There's a resemblance there.
Just a bit.
What? So all high elves look.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, yeah, fair. I'll just look to Acacia. She's fine, I swear. One of the best people I know.
I'm
I
sure.
have a simple request for you.
Go ahead.
I need to get Tiana out of the city for a few days, unseen preferably. I was wondering if you had a method to do so. Going through the mission would be a lot easier than going through any gates and a lot of the secret escapee points are probably packed with people at the moment.
Is this for all of you together?
Preferably, but if not, I would like them to remain safe in the mission while I and Tiana are outside city limits.
Oh, it's better if you're together. I don't want to be responsible for a child's safety. Not the way I could send you. There's a panic tunnel downstairs. You remember the false bookshelf?
Of course, right. Oh, that does exit into the city. Thank you. I hadn't actually considered that. It's been a long night. Yes, if you'd be so willing, that would be excellent.
Just swear you won't tell anyone it's there.
Tell
we do
anyone
not have
what's
the
there.
Duke's permission to create it.
But create what?
She smiles and gives you a wink. Right. On you go, then. It's the big red book in the middle that opens it up.
Oh, classic.
When you get
Yeah.
there, Theli, you will find that it is actually one of your
Yeah, I
parents'
know.
smutty novels.
Of course it is.
Yeah. There's no way that she didn't pick that on purpose when that bookcase was restored. There is no way it wasn't exclusively because one day Fel might use this, and she was just like, I'm prepare just for that joke.
Quite probably.
I am not going to explain that to anyone as I, like, kiff sigh at the door and then
All but notices,
slide the
but
bed.
no one else does.
Fair enough. And then, yeah, out into the city. It's time to go camping.
Actually, wait, hold on. Tiana also
No, Tiana
reads
is... Yeah, no, Tiana reads Aelven.
Alright.
Does
Luckily,
she ask me why I sigh at the title of the book?
No, because it has a Sableye's name on it. I was like,
Okay. Yep, fair enough. Yeah, I will. Yeah.
You will go
Square
into...
one. Out to sea.
Everyone who isn't Tiana has to, like, crouch walk through this little earthen tunnel, occasionally tripping over, like, tree roots and such as it delves under the city walls and poots you out, like, underneath Newtown.
Yeah, I'll have Scruff taking the lead, and knowing that he's got War Dog training, he does have the temporary hit points of animal friendship on him.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't encounter any danger in your escape here. You have chosen
There are
well.
rats of an unusual size waiting for us.
None that require us to, like, roll anything for you to dispatch.
Yeah.
You have
I'll leave
a
them to
righteous
Scruff.
party with you.
Yeah. It's time to go camping for, like, we'll make it 4 days. On, like, I guess ask Amy to send Gold a sending every day just to make sure he knows all as well.
Yeah. Alright. So, other than just camp, do you have any particular plans?
Let's see here.
In fact, if you could
have
just,
a
like,
lot-
move yourself to whatever square you or hex you want to be in.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for... Yeah, not far from the Druids.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Well, you could
Indeed, if-
camp with the druids.
Could do, but, you know, the less people know about Tiana, the better. I trust them as well. But I'll keep my campsite
still-
away from them. Yeah.
Less people put in danger, the better, too.
Yeah, exactly. I was asked by Gold, and so I feel like it would be a betrayal of his trust to be like, by the way, we're hiding out of the city. There might be a day where, you know, it's a bunch of days out in the woods not really doing anything. I'll take everyone over to the circle to say hi and let them know about the events of Corania City so that they are kept in the loop. But, yeah.
It'll be impossible to go unnoticed by the druids if you're in, like, an adjacent hex to them and camping out.
That's fair. Well, then, at the very least, like, they're not going to get context to it, not going to stay within their walls. If anything, I'm going to do one of those, like, cool fucking survivor log cabins. There are enough people amongst us to make probably quite a nice one.
Yeah. For sure.
You know,
Yeah,
it might
the
be
druids
something
aren't
that
going to
Tiana would
bother
enjoy.
you unnecessarily, but you'll definitely see, like, some wolves stalking the edges of your camp a couple of nights. Just keeping an eye on you.
If they want scritches, they can get scritches.
No, if you try to reach out, they're going to, like, bound away into the shadows.
Yeah, fair enough. The first one who does that, I go, well, it's more scritches for Scruffles then.
Scruffle just, like, peers up for his nap, like, Scritches? Me? Huh? Huh? Huh?
Hell yeah, buddy.
And then, yeah, so, while that's going on, Steve. It is the night of that New Year's party. You are watching, like, Andy and Anna dancing the night away. Arlene has been asked to dance by basically every bard who isn't a giant pussy, and also Will.
Yay,
So
Will.
she is clearly the belle of the ball here. when all of a sudden Anastasia just goes stock still, which causes Andy to trip and just fall over in her arms. And she whispers something to him, and the two of them take off running. They make no effort to conceal the deep alarm, which causes all the bards and teachers to peer at the Duke and Duchess booking it and then become very worried.
Oh shit. I'm just going to go after him.
Yeah, you can, though. You're actually, you're a little bit faster than they are if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, and I can fucking Zephyr Strike as well.
Then yeah, you will be able to catch up to them, though it will take you a minute. They are clearly heading towards their, little rooms at Leorn's manse. And Anna will pause and turn and say, apologies, Doctor, we need to cut our stay here short. Something's happened back home.
Well, I figured that was something that would require both of you to go back. It should be big enough for me to return as well.
Given what's happened, I'm sure that would be for the best. Andy will grimace.
What's wrong?
It appears there was an explosion at the granary.
Oh. That sounds like, terrorists.
That sounds like it's time to move as quick as we can, eh?
Yep. Let's go.
Yeah, they will go back to running. A couple of minutes later, a, hasted Arlene will speed up and screech to a halt behind you. You can catch her up. She will curse and go and pack her bags. Yeah. So, Hedrah, would you be so kind as to roll me a 1d8?
A date?
Yep, a date of fate.
High or low?
Let's see. The number 5 would be ideal for you.
Oh.
Okay. There is becalmed wind this night. And given the late hours, the captain respectfully refuses to leave until morning. Even with the Duke and Duchess stamping their feet. And come morning, you will find that, there's simply no way to speed up your progress. You would have to put oars to water, and these are not rowboats that you have taken. So, as important as it may be for the Duke and Duchess to return home, roll me a d3. Okay, you are only becalmed for 1 day, so it will be the 2nd of January by the time your group is able to return.
Yeah, and it took exactly 30 days to research produce the drug as well.
Yep, so your projects are pretty well done by now. You have just need to get back home. Let's see. Arlene, you are a smart bird. You are going to send a sending to all of your friendos, which is to say, Vale, Ashe, and Tori, and Thelerien, because who knows where you are at any given time.
Nice.
You are all going to
This
get...
is in the middle of that first night.
This will probably be the, by the time Arlene sends to you, it'll probably be morning. So, while you are in the process of leaving the city.
I thought I'd be one of the ones she wants to check up with, the first moment she hears of it, wouldn't she?
Yeah, it's just that she doesn't hear of it until, later on, and then she has to prepare sending.
Alright, of course, right. Yep, alright, yep, sorry.
Or she has to start ritual casting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will ask her though. during the sending, if she can have order in food from us. What was the South trade city? What's
Ivara?
Evora? Yes, or anywhere, or Igniferus, or
Steve,
the
how would I
potatoes
do
or
that? I don't know how. What do you mean?
Well, a Tory.
Okay, tell Tori what? Buy food?
Buy as much food as can be shipped. I'm drenched in money. I will pay luxury price
Yeah,
if
okay.
needed.
What specifically do I get sent?
Well, I'm typing it out.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I have thousands of golds.
Good enough. So everyone gets that. And then to Tori. There you go. So, yeah. Vale, Ashe, Tori will all get that first one, as will Dolores, because of course. And then Tori gets that second one. And while you are thinking of responses, if any, Steve. It takes you that couple of days to get to Kyrania City, so I'm going to have to roll a couple more things to see just how the situation there progresses. Perhaps I will make the most important roll first. Let's see.
The most important in terms of
Things, stuff.
The city still existing, probably. Shoot, I don't have any advantage to give him.
I mean, it's
Is
a
the
couple days
Artificer
later.
human
Arlene will just
himself?
have it again. Do you want to use it on him? I'll
Isn't
just
he a human with his own human inspiration?
theoretically. I mean, he's also just an NPC, unlike
Yeah.
PC sheet Arlene. But
True, fair.
then, if it's the most important,
I think. Because that'll be the one that's like whether he decides whether the like shipment people are all put to hang. So it depends on how we want that to turn out.
Hell, I'm worried that's a Conradist Polgrim check.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, so that's a 5 that can, and he has a 7 bonus.
Yeah, he has a really high like chance to it, so like there's a good a good chance it gets a better roll.
And what's it called? Your wizard witch woman is a human too. Amy.
Also, not a player character.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
Well,
Actually, she is
Arlene's the
NPC.
only
She
one
does
of these
have
who is
inspiration as
like
well.
a full-on.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
I mean,
so,
as does
so
Bruna,
this will at
actually.
least have
You
Oh,
just-
so you have 3. So that-
you have 3 people who just generate an inspiration just by existing at this point in time.
yeah, that's
I think it's
really
worth it.
fucking cool. Yeah.
Then yeah, we'll mark off. Let's go in alphabetical order. So Amy. Yeah.
Shoot.
Sometimes it really do be like that.
Well, he can guide us himself.
He cannot.
Yeah, that's assuming he wants to. Like,
Ah, shit.
All right. So that's that check. And old Marius, my man. I should really move you into great houses since you are like, cousins with Theodrix, and he's in there. Alright, Marius. Okay, that's good.
thank goodness, Mary is still on top.
Yeah,
Still a champ.
random, like, brother of night, incredibly good at his job, turns out. And one last, probably second most important role. Good old communists. Okay, that's not bad, but not great either.
For them or for us?
It's worse than Marius,
Yes.
but only by 3.
Yeah, I think they're both in the same like success bracket where it's going to be
Mm.
a bit of a tie. Leaning towards Marius' side, but still, Steve, by the time you arrive...
Does us beating down their group not give them disadvantage on this roll?
So here's the thing. When you went
We
and,
didn't kill
like...
him.
Yeah, you killed all, like, the militant troops and a bunch of their, like,
But
random
not
thugs.
Pyromancer.
Yeah, you very specifically
Yeah.
left the leader of the group very much alive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, while the militants themselves are pretty thoroughly dispatched, or at least that cell was, the rabble-rousing continues until morale improves. And so, Steve, by the time you arrive in the town, there are sporadic fires burning in the city streets. There are barricades. You don't see evidence of massed battles by any means, but the city is clearly in a state of disarray. The guards and the Dawnblades have not lost it, but neither are they maintaining. Or rather, neither are they gaining ground. It seems that the Old Town and the docks have basically become a communist enclave at this point, while High Town and New Town remain thoroughly under lock by the city forces. And unfortunately, your boat is, well, a boat, and boats go to the docks. So, what would you like to do?
Well, both go normally to the docks, is the wording.
Yes, that would be the normal procedure, but the Duke and Duchess are looking at, like, huge crowds of people now dressed in red and holding up torches, gathering as the ship heaves into view.
How about we don't do that. That's a lot of comrades. We don't go into port.
Yes, and
We
how
don't.
else do we get into the city, though, is the question.
Well, he just looks at the outer walls and be like, "Up for a stroll."
We don't know how much of the countryside belongs to them or to us. It's not a safe plan, but better than walking right into their arms, I suppose. I'm afraid my sword arm's not as strong as it was. Anna will clasp his shoulder. Then I'll fight twice as hard for both of us. No helpless dame, Doctor. If we need to fight, I'll be ready.
Yeah. So, given that, given that the outer walls are the ones that stops the port from, going around.
It does, but
Because,
the port is also where all the boats are that aren't yours.
yeah, but we don't. Yeah, so I'm thinking like, going like at full speed as much as we can towards just beaching this fucker. Or getting as close to the northern part. What's it called? The northern side here.
If you want to beach the ship, you're going to have to make a very hard persuade check against the captain. That is going to ruin him.
Doesn't it just have fucking rowboats attached to it?
Yeah, it does have a couple of like small ship's boats, but they are very slow.
Yeah. It's gonna ruin him, but it's
a 10-minute
1,000
row.
volts. We're just gonna ask if 1,000 volt would be enough.
Not to ram my ship, no.
Okay.
It's a 10-minute row, you babies.
Okay, well, I get us as close as possible then, and we're gonna have to haul ass on the robot.
Andy will take a deep breath, roll his shoulders, and draw his small sword from his side while Anna produces a hefty hand-and-a-half axe. Let us hope that the dissidents there aren't too keen to just burn a stranger. They can't know it's us, can they? Long silence.
Well, I'm thinking they don't see you at the moment. They can't identify you, correct?
That would be the hope, yes.
Well, I know invisibility lasts an hour. I mean, thinking the same thing then.
Arlene will glance at Steve. Yeah, if you got it prepped, I do too. That
I
doesn't help
get it
us,
too.
though.
No, but we're gonna need to get to fucking shore first, and then we can get going. And I take it once we get there, you can what's that word again? Upcast it.
Invisibility does not have an upcast.
Oh, it doesn't. I thought it was. It gives one extra.
Not an
person.
SNS.
Oh.
That's in 5e.
Ah, my bad. Okay.
Meanwhile,
Never
while
mind that.
you and Arlene are talking, I'm just going to roll a thing real quick. Actually, that should probably be a charisma save, but that's even better. As you and Arlene are talking, you can see the Duke and Duchess speaking quietly between each other. Andrea seems rather irate about something, but Anna's putting her hands on his shoulders and trying to reassure him. It will be all right. I'm not helpless. I can still do this. It's fine. I'm more worried about you. I'm not... Anna, you're being selfish. I can take care of the city if I get there. You should stay here on the boat. No, I'm not going to. If you're going, I'm going. That's the way it's always been. He looks at Steve, starts to raise his fingers up to say something to you, and then his hand just gets grasped and folded in by Anna. I will be fine.
You know,
You're going to be the death of me.
well, we only need to get to the walls, and then we only need to get to the walls, the city walls, because you two can get inside. You two can get inside invisibly.
Yes, though
Okay.
neither of us are exactly the subtle sort.
Well, I have something here called. It's called Spider Climb. It'll last for until you take a rest. So that's advantage 16/16.
Yeah.
So
I'm just pointing
So-
out before we get to the thing that we're looking at a +1 and a -1.
yeah, that's it.
That's
But
not
I'm
great.
telling them that. Well, the guard. I'm looking at. Let's see which part. The southern part is the old. It's Old Town, right?
Yes, the southern, or rather the seaside part is Old Town and the docks. That's
Okay,
New
so
Town
if
is
we
over
get to
here,
the
and then the capital, keep is here-ish.
yes, that's what I mean. We only need to get to the wall that is towards the keep part, with the church and everything. Because the spider climb lasts until short rest. They can get up there. They can just literally walk up the wall. And then walk along the wall until they get to the keep. Nobody will see them.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully.
Unless somebody can see invisible, so. Yeah, because it allows you to walk on any surface. That means on the inside of the wall as well. You don't need to be at the very top where, the guards are, or at the bottom where the other people. You can let it go alongside the flat surface.
Yes, I understand how the spell works, Doctor. It's just...
Good.
He glances at Anastasia. Yes, if that's the best way into the city, then that's the best way. We'll put our people first, as always. Come, let's get to it.
so-
The longer we sit here deliberating, the more likely it is they're going to send someone out to intercept us.
Yeah, I'll just told the captain to go where we're going, so not to beach and stuff, but get as close as possible so we can just.
Yeah, it's going to be more than a 10-minute row. The coast here is rather rocky, and, well, frankly, he's a little bit afraid of being shot at by whoever it is now in control of the docks.
Yeah,
But-
so that's what I said, to stay away as close as possible, so.
Yeah, so he will get you as close as he deems fit, but it is more like a 20-minute row, and you have no wind at best, and it is... the time you reach there, probably pretty early morning. It's a bit dark. But you can set to row. We'll leave you there for the moment. Vale.
Yes'm.
So you have received a sending, as has Dolores, about a grain explosion in Karenia City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
That's not good.
no, it's not. Dolores, of course, will have to report this to her superiors. It seems like she's one of, if not the first, to hear about it. But
Yeah.
it quickly becomes apparent she is not the first, as already, as you exit your tent, you can see that there is a small commotion coming from the command tent, that belonging to the Lord General. And you can see he is having his horse fitted for riding. Other knights are scrambling to get their shit together to grab armor and weapons to escort him, but he shows no signs of slowing down. There is a rising confusion in the camp as their lord looks like he's about ready to abandon them.
Oh dear.
What, if anything, would you like to do? That's what I thought.
Shit. So he's going to immediately head back.
Yeah, it looks like even if he must go by himself, he is wasting no time in rushing back towards the capital.
Someone has to take command of this place. Oh god. Who's the second in command?
The second in command is... let's see. It would probably actually be Dolores at the moment. She is one of the most experienced knights around. And frankly, the Lion Knights are in small number and scattered.
Okay. Okay. So Dolores needs to take command here then. Because this guy's he's just going.
God let you
Basic-
do something to stop them. That was the thing.
Yeah. I suppose I'll approach him, yeah.
Yeah, you've made enough of a name for yourself that he will recognize you, though he makes no effort to address you as he finishes saddling his steed.
I'll ask him if he got ascending as well.
Yes, my lady, I did, and I have little time to waste if I'm to make it back there before chaos ensues.
Should you not address your men, they'll just gonna see you run off.
I
Could
trust
cause
that
a
they
panic.
will stick to their duties. They have capable lords amongst them. It is early hours yet. There is no time to assemble a great council. Every second here matters. Vale, if you would make an insight check for me.
Sure. Veil. I'm not very good at insight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna raw dog this, I guess. Okay.
You're fine at insight.
In the short time that you have been here at Three Oaks, from what little you have interacted with the Lord General, he has always seemed to you a fearless and courageous man. He has stood in the vanguard and cleaved a bloody wake through the orcs. But now you can see a genuine and desperate fear in his eyes, one that is clearly overtaking his better senses.
He's worried about his parents, I think. The Duke and the Duchess.
That would be his sister and brother-in-law.
Oh yeah, his sister and brother-in-law.
Yes.
Right.
Anna and Andy have no children yet.
Do I know what Steve was going to do?
As in, like, what he's doing with Andy over
Like
on the forest?
taking them out of the city.
I don't know that you know
Take-
he took them out.
Arlene just told you though that the Ducals are safe.
Okay. Okay. I will approach the general and uh, I'll put a hand on his shoulder, and if you're worried about the Duke and the Duchess, I do know that they are safe. I received a message myself.
Yes, of course, and may they stay that way. Well, that also means that right now the city is without a leader, and I must get back. For it is too late, and the castle falls.
The castle will not fall taking 5 minutes to address your troops, and your captains will not cause undue harm to the city, and could stop a panic from raising here on the front lines. At the very least, put someone in charge officially. Like, I think it's Lady Dolores is this your second?
Yes, Branson, a good woman. I trust her to keep things calm here. She has more experience than most of these whelps combined. Vale, go ahead and make a persuade check.
Sure.
I will say the DC, given his quite poor wisdom save there, will be a bit on the high side.
Okay. Just trying to see what heroism is. I could cast heroism on him, maybe. Sure. Alright, I will use my glorious presence. 26.
Goddamn. Alright. As you talk to him, the general takes a deep breath. Gods, what am I becoming? Yes, of course, you're right, Lady Vale. I should at least brief Dolores as to what's going on. He will take his pack and just throw it into his squire's hands. Get my mare loaded up. I'll be leaving in 5 minutes, no more.
I will go with him. Would you like company riding back? I have friends there in the city as well.
I'm not sure the war effort can spare you and me, but truth be told, I would welcome the company. Yeah, he will. Where Dolores is getting, quickly brief her that and so he must return at once, lest a city without its dukes fall to a chaos. Though, when he says as much, Dolores is going to roll an insight of her own. Human inspiration, please. Okay. It's enough. She will grasp General Carr's arm. Leonard, what's gotten into you? This isn't like you. And tell me what's really going on. The flame-haired knight will bristle at that and pull his arm away. Nothing that concerns you, Dolores. Though, if you will permit me, I will be stealing your paramour away. I understand she is well loved in the city. I'll do well to have her with me. You can't just deflect a question like that, my lord. I can and I will. You're in command until I return. Try not to lose the city. He'll draw his cloak around himself and turn on a heel and march to his horse. The horse makes to grab at him and then thinks better of it and sighs. What has gotten into that man?
I don't know. I don't know him as well as you do. What's the matter? What is wrong?
I don't know. I've never seen him that spooked before. This is more than just being concerned about the city. To hear him tell it he hates the damn place.
I'm not sure. All I know is that the Duke and the Duchess are safe right now. And the city's no doubt in chaos.
Yeah. Gods, I wish it was me riding home instead of him. Eileen says she's going back there. Stupid, stupid girl. She was safe.
Arlene's a strong girl. She'll be okay. I've seen her handle herself very well.
I know, but it only takes one moment of weakness. One careless step. No, I can't think of that right now. You get home and you find her. You keep her safe, Vale. For me.
I will. I will. I'll try and find her as soon as I get there.
Dolores will nod, then deep breath, grass your cheeks, give you a kiss on the lips.
Aw.
Ride like the wind.
Hell yeah.
As fast as I can. I guess I'll get my things and summon my warhorse then.
Yeah. Your steed appears resplendent and ready to be ridden, so you are not more than a few moments behind the Lord General as he puts his spurs into his mare and darts. I think it is... I'm not sure if it's actually faster to go around the
Around
forest or not.
forest.
Yes,
Forest is difficult
barely.
terrain.
Actually, he might cut along the coast and just hope there's enough there. Yeah, it's relatively safe. Yeah, I think he's just going to cut along the coast, and since it's just him riding right along the coast, difficult terrain probably won't be as severe. So, it will still take you, let's see, 1, 2, 3 days. So you'll arrive a day after Steve and Arlie. Is there aught you want to do along that journey? It will basically just be you, the general, and a handful of his closest retainers.
I suppose I would like to take the opportunity to try and learn more about the general here and see if I can figure out why he's so spooked by this. I'm, aside from just the whole event itself.
Yeah. We'll give you your choice between perception and insight to try and wheedle information out of him.
Oh boy, let's
Perception?
see.
Yeah, I wonder what you're going to pick, but...
Let me tell you about how both of those are the same roll.
I figured it would be
Persuasion?
persuasion. You said
Oh,
perception,
persuasion.
which is
Oh,
why we,
did
which
I?
is why
Perception.
I even asked perception again, and you doubled down.
Yeah.
Did I? Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
hear shit.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it's persuasion or insight.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hmm?
Alright. Did you
21,
want-
because you definitely would have been able to glorious.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll buy that. Alright. Yeah, given who you are in specific, I think a 20 will be sufficient. As you are sitting around the campfire one night, the general will hand you a heavily laden plate of food and say, I never had a chance to thank you personally. You are part of the adventuring group that tackled the moon tower, yes?
Yes.
Yes, Anastasia mentioned as much. Then I owe you a great debt. If, by some miracle, my daughter had managed to succeed in her ill-thought quest, she would have been trapped there for an eternity.
Mm.
Tiana's
Tiana's heart was in the right place.
Yes. She's lucky to have friends like you, but now she has no blood kin in the city. Only that Chancellor to look after her. And Jagan, I suppose. Oh, the man's past his prime.
This is the second time he's mentioned the Chancellor in that tone.
Yes.
Hmm.
Tiana may not have family in the city right now, but she does have friends. I know that Thel would make sure to keep her safe.
I hope so, but still. I've never felt such a fear for her life before now. I have not been there for her as often as a father should, and she has no mother.
Mm.
Think of her in the city in such a crisis. Damn my hubris, leaving her there. I thought she was safe.
By all accounts, she should have been. There's no way you could have known what was going to happen. That this attack would come.
No, there is no way, but still. This war has kept me occupied half the girl's life. I have no clue what's going on in that city anymore at all. I feel like a stranger going to a strange land.
You've been on campaign a long time.
Ever since I was a man, it feels like. These barbarians have been pounding on our gates as long as I can remember. I practically grew up along that river, blood-soaked as it is now.
We'll find her when we get back.
I pray you are right. I have given all the gods their due course to see her safe. Surely one of them will listen to a prayer. Indeed, little does the general know that for a brief moment he was mere miles away from where
God damn
Tiana
it.
is just camping in the woods with her friendos.
So he's worried about his daughter, not his sister or brother-in-law, or even the
Yeah,
city.
seemingly.
It's Tiana he's worried about.
Yeah. And Tiana is just having a grand old time with hearing the stories of fucking Manticore and Stone Tower and Lizard and Stone Giant.
Pretty much. So, while they are making their way back, skipping directly past the true target of their excursion, Tori, you
Yeah.
have been given some very alarming news from what is fundamentally
Oh.
very far away.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have a panic attack.
Well, that's good.
Uh, we are still going to be very distraught having to leave 2 months earlier than she thought, but she is definitely going to uh, hire a wet nurse the very next opportunity she gets, and then use the rest of the monies. How many potato can I buy with 800 gold?
So, in theory, quite a
If there's
lot.
any left.
Yeah, that is sort of the problem. It is the dead of
How,
winter.
yes,
While Igniferous is a very
I
fertile
guess,
area, it also makes all of
yeah,
its money by selling food. And they certainly
yeah,
have
I
an
guess
excess, but not as much as you
how
might hope.
much, yeah, I guess I will buy every bit of excess that I can
Yeah, uh,
of any kind.
there is also. Well, this is a question for Kinathis, I suppose. So,
Sure.
Kina, you run basically an agrarian little barony up here. Uh,
Right.
Now, this is great for, selling food throughout Avara, which is otherwise a kind of
Yeah.
rocky mountainous shithole in terms of land.
Yes.
But Karania has traditionally been your primary competition up until just a few years ago in terms of food exports, and given the declining wealth of the region between the wars and the droughts, they have been aggressively protectionist in their economic policy, trying to cut
Hmm.
you out as much as possible. How charitable do you feel like being to a foreign country that, frankly, has been unkind to you in recent years?
Huh. Okay. Uh, they haven't. Hmm.
The communists in the fucking. Yeah, communism was not
They
mentioned.
weren't mentioned in this ending.
I don't think they necessarily know for sure.
Then again, this could be an opportunity to put an end to such policy, or
If Tori gets any flack when she's buying this stuff, she'll definitely bring up that, like, if that's what they're worried about, then like being being friendly in this moment could like have a changing effect on things.
Like,
Yeah.
in theory, it would be great for Igniferus to open up this duchy as a new market. On the other hand, you also know that they are, like, stretching themselves dirt poor, and also, fuck them.
Hmm.
In fact, you also know that your first wife, Tassie, has been deeply suspicious of that place for a long time, even setting aside the economics of the place, and whispering about corrupt churches and shit for, like, several years now. Though she, of course, recommends charity, as one may expect from, lawful good elf wife.
True. How much are they is how much are is money is being presented to this?
800 gold. Our like she mentioned, like her friend Steve offered several thousand more, but it's not here right now, and she doesn't know when it would arrive, so she's not really taking that into account.
Okay. How about, considering the somewhat hostile recent history between Igniferus and Corania, uh, the food is not going to would not be sold at a discount, just even despite the situation. But
I wouldn't have expected it to be discounted.
you know, how about, say, you pay 800, but you're gonna get 700 worth, so you're getting charged extra, but gonna send probably going to send an emissary along with this food as a way to try and massage the situation. See if we can't get some of this protectionism uh, done away with.
I think I would rather have the food in this moment, but like if the emissary
I'm saying you're
can
gonna
like
get
smooth
both.
if the emissary can smooth things over, then like that sounds amenable. I can't really make any diplomatic decisions for like the reason Tori'd rather have the food is she can't really make any diplomatic decisions for it. So like essentially it's like not really her decision to make, but like if that's what they're willing to do, that's like what she's willing to do.
No, I'm telling you I'm telling you what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what like, and she'll straight up say like that wasn't a like I'd rather have the food like uh that wasn't a diplomacy. That was a like I think is like personally I think this is petty and they would rather have the food. But like if that's what you're willing to get, if that's the offer you're willing to give, then it's what I'll have to take.
Diplomatic action. Yeah.
Alright. Hashat chooses strong arm economic diplomacy. Take advantage of their weakness to open up the new market. I respect it. So, unless you want to just make up a person, Is there anyone in specific you would consider as a prime candidate to send as your emissary?
Um,
You have like 5 million unnamed descendants who just want to send a dude.
Saracena.
Saracena would be
That-
the worst possible
that
choice.
would be terrible.
She's just going to go up there and be like, "Hello, Duchess. You're going to have 10 more children now. Enjoy." All at once. And then Anastasia dies.
How about calling in? Oh, I know who. Hashat is going to call in a favor from a family friend and get a Lich Taker to go over there.
Oh boy.
Welcome to economics, bitch.
Cracked knuckles. Okay, this 8-foot fucking salamander has legend books in steel. Y'all motherfucker want some?
Alright. Sounds good to me.
On the plus side, if we can deal with this, the drought, I mean, asking Saracena to maybe wander over and see if she can help revitalize the earth there wouldn't be a
Yeah.
bad idea.
And she has a daughter there.
That would be a bargaining chip on Igniferous' side for any kind of concessions.
I mean, you already hold all the cards, but yes.
Yeah.
You don't even. I have another deck I can even pull out.
You're holding all the cards, and also I brought my magic deck.
It's more like that would be a more peaceful olive branch.
And the fact that it's not that. Hold all the cards, you got the fucking Black Lotus, and then you draw Exodia on the table. It's like, motherfucker, calm down.
That's a good. Yeah, that could work with Nahia. Maybe grease some wheels to get some things moved towards Karania.
Yeah, she is not outside of being swayed if a shot's like, look, I want to make a big economic play and these are people in need. We're like, yeah, all right, sure, I'll help. I think she would be more than happy to do that to like help her shot and also help a city full of starving people, even if it's like a short term like deep expense. I think picking a Lich Taker is a pretty fucking solid choice. I forgot that was
Yeah.
an option.
It's a grand concern there.
Yeah, alright.
The concern is concerned.
I mean, hell, if things are really, really fast, like if you need stuff like right now, if Tori was able to provide some kind of coordinates to a teleportation circle, like supplies could be teleported to that location immediately.
I don't think you guys have found a single teleportation
Yeah,
circle at all.
unfortunately, we
No, we
have
have no addresses in our
We
We
book.
have
haven't
found-
asked.
Yeah.
We have found a circle, but we're not allowed to use it.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes, there is a
And
circle
that
you know of
wouldn't-
in, like, I believe the Broadstone Tomb
Yeah.
temple.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be wouldn't be helpful in this case if we did know it.
Mm. Well, that's unfortunate.
Well, unless we find one. Yeah, what's for it? Unless we find one and send the coordinates via sending.
Yeah, I guess if we find one in the city, we can mention it Like I can ask
Yeah.
the Duke and Duchess out of character.
Yeah. There simply isn't one in the city.
Ah.
Oh,
Ah,
well then.
Yeah, it's
Well, it'll have to take the long way then.
yeah.
At least it
Unfortunately,
doesn't have to go down to Avar.
Flamegrace Tower is just like 4 libraries stacked on top of itself. And the Court Mage's Tower, they're not putting a fucking teleportation circle in the Ducal Keep, because that's a terrible idea.
Hmm. Wait, no, I don't want to do that. I shot had a bad experience with that one time already, and there wouldn't be any value really to it.
travel by a vein.
Yeah, I was thinking, riding a dragon vein would also get stuff there real quick, but also last time she did that, she ran into something underground that almost killed her. So
Oh
don't,
boy.
rather not, you know, do that again.
I'm also
And
not sure
I mean,
what nexus of power you know of other than the Stone Tower, which frankly isn't that far away from Igniferous.
oh wait, that is a
Stone
different.
Tower.
That is a different, a totally different. That was an entirely different game system. Actually, now that I think about it, that was 5e. We did that in.
Yeah.
I mean, still, there is probably like Hashat probably still knows the realm magic ability to like just shunt herself from one like place of power to another.
What? How did I? What did I? No, I remember what I did. I grabbed a rock from where we were in Stormvale, and I used Residium to cast a whole actual teleportation spell, not the circle, and just
Ah.
zapped myself to a circle I knew from there. Well, and then I used teleportation circle to leave, and then I cast the teleport to where I picked up that rock because I needed the rock as a point of reference for the teleportation. That's how that worked.
Sounds right to me.
Either way, yeah, teleport's probably a realm magic in this.
Yeah, it would be. Which, I mean, to be fair, again, Igniferous is a nexus of power, so Hashat certainly has access to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only other one I believe you know about is the Stone Tower up here.
And that would be trek through the mountains and not very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, not an ideal place.
Yeah.
Another nexus of power is this, where the Druid Circle.
We don't know that, do we?
We do.
Don't.
Yes, we do.
That was one of the ones you theorized in your drawings, but I don't think we ever actually
Confirmed it.
found
Yeah,
one.
We do. Yeah, we have confirmation that the fucking nexus of power is indeed there in the Druid Circle because the blood flower grows there, and the blood flower
Oh,
only
wait.
grows at nexus of powers.
Also, wasn't the druidess developing a realm magic for me? So how
Yeah.
would she do that if they didn't have one?
Fair. You don't know where exactly it is, but yes, I think you have the context clues to know that there is one somewhere in the fucking forest.
So yeah, if we could have the information about that one, that would help. But
Yeah.
we could probably get that information to them in a bit, but not right now.
Yeah. The druid's probably got some ancient ass teleportation circle hidden somewhere.
Regardless, that would only be able to transport not enough, like some things, not
Yeah.
the kind of supplies that the city needs.
Mhm. It's not as expedient as a teleportation circle in this case.
Mhm.
But it'll have to be the slow way.
Slow way with a lot of what is that?
I'm just selecting
And give
some
me some
token
ledge
options
taker
for
options.
Skow.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be honest, this last one like kind of looks like yeah. It's got that side dude.
Yeah, she definitely wears it like Mum does.
Oh, no, that wouldn't. No. I just realized I could have done something funny.
What?
I could have sent Tally.
That's what I thought you were gonna do, but I don't know how much sense it would make.
I know.
I mean, you could
This
send
makes
more
far
than
more
just
sense.
one person. You could send a little entourage.
Oh, that's true. Guess I could send Nora up there as well. I just think it would be funny.
I mean, it'd make Tori comfortable. She knows her.
Plus, at this point, as a half-elf, Talanora's, reached her mature years, certainly. She's like the human equivalent of, like, in her 50s or so.
Yeah, she's retired and written that book.
Written a lot of books, I'm
A
sure.
whole bunch.
Actually, yeah, if Tori knows her, then and there's also Ashe. Ashe would also probably be an acquaintance as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Ah, yes, of course. She of the giant butt.
Woohoo!
Alright. Well, that's a good choice. And
Maybe she
presumably,
can
like, a few household retainers to help them with stuff.
maybe she can go as like I mean, part of like an envoy as well, but also like as a bodyguard to Miss Lich Taker. Nora is a blade singer.
Oh, yeah. Incredibly dangerous
Yeah.
one at that. She still has that fucking,
Yeah.
like, Moonveil katana.
Yeah.
So, yeah. A solid little entourage of Elfus.
I am down to 37 gold and 1 platinum piece.
Hell yeah. How many just, like, generic staff and guards do you want to send, more or less, Like, 20, 30?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe split the difference.
Alright, 25 dudes.
It'd be hilarious. If they
Probably
come
send
back
probably tomorrow, because there's a bit of a food situation, so probably
Yeah, I will mention
gargoyles.
that like while we're planning to hopefully have that dealt with as soon as we can, there's currently like not food there.
Send a bunch of gargoyles. They don't need to eat, so.
Okay, that makes sense.
I will
Nice.
say this: it'd be hilarious. They try attack you. You set your foot on stone, and suddenly, like, you chose the wrong motherfuckers to fight. Fireproof, bludgeoning proof, stab proof.
Yeah.
Just erupt the earth.
So, in that case, maybe close to like a dozen, since you have comparatively relatively few of those just available sitting around.
Sure. Sure.
But a dozen gargoyles is a pretty potent force for dispatching normies. They do have just like 5 mundane resists, so anything short of an actual like military weapon in the hands of a normal person simply cannot hurt them. A commoner with an improvised weapon physically can't do anything to them.
Nice.
Yeah, alright. So a dozen gargoyles, Miss Lich Taker, and Talonora.
Sounds good.
Oh, you said Italy? Oh shit!
Yes.
Oh. Oh, yeah, if they try anything, they're just fucking dead.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like, half the fucking city's gonna just be rubble.
I don't think Talonor would be that careless.
No, I didn't say
No.
about being careless.
Well, why would Talia destroy
I'm
the
saying
city?
that
She can
she's...
simply murder all the people in it if she wants to. The city's perfectly good
Yeah,
stone.
exactly. And so is the stone underneath. All she needs to do is drop this massive thing called gas, poisonous gas, in the air, and it will just
Poisonous
first
gas.
kill the people on the surface, and then sink into the stone city underneath, and kill everything that isn't poison, isn't 100% poison resist.
So yeah, you can get that dispatched. It is going to take, without the benefit of like a teleportation circle or anything. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So 4 days to get to Varyat, and then
Well, it allegedly took me less than 7 days to get to Igdaferis from
yeah, I'm just
Urania.
recounting. Yeah, it does. Yeah, you were, however, moving, just a dude. You now have a shitload of carts full of food with you, so
Fair.
a bit slower.
There's a relief column there, so that's going to take things.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, yeah, it'll take you about a week to get there, so won't move. You will certainly, in any circumstance, be the last person to arrive back at the city. So you have goodies in tow. So you're like most of the way to Varyat, or a little more than half, at that 2-day mark. So we will pick up again with Steve and the boys. Unbeknownst to you, really not all that far away from where you're making landfall, Vale and General Carr are making their way towards the city, and from the other direction, another boat is carrying the Leofric clan, ready to come and help. But first,
Whoa.
the Duke and Duchess need to get back into the city, if at all possible.
Yeah, on the boat there, I chuck, spider climb both of them. It'll last until a short rest.
Yep. And you can invisibility them as well. There is the issue of the boat itself. I'm just going to make a roll from the communards to see if they are canny enough to try and intercept random boat in the night. Good chance they won't be, but we'll see. No. Okay. They do not bother you
What a bunch
on
of
the
fucking
water.
dipshits.
Yeah, they... Clearly you are just more workers coming to join in the Grand Revolution.
Yeah.
And so you are able to, avoid the docks, park yourselves on the beach, a couple miles to the north, and then walk the rest of the way in. However, the grasslands around the capital are not free of the chaos. In a couple of instances, you will find communists identifiable by their torch brooches who have been strung up from trees outside town, and in a couple of other cases you will find militiamen from the city who have had much the same treatment, likely by the communards, and there's signs of sporadic fighting. So I would like a group stealth test from the four of you, just to see if you manage to get in without provoking any sort of conflict. Now, obviously, Arlene, very stealthy, but does not have invisibility for herself. She will human inspo that. Okay.
There we go. Okay. I take it that the sock, her little buddy doesn't actually
No,
would help
he
with this.
he cannot help you be stealthier.
Oh well.
No, nor can Winston. Okay, you're good. And so it comes down to the two fighters to see if they can sneak. They do have advantage. Okay.
She can inspiration, or
It
if she
doesn't need to. It's a group test. It's just you need to have more successes than failures, and yeah, as soon as Andreas succeeded, you were guaranteed success as long as you didn't crit fail. Nice result, by the way.
Your efforts to help the Duke there have really paid off. He's very quite spry.
He's got his fucking dancing shoes on.
Yeah,
for sure.
his fucking his nerves work.
Yeah, he is sharp as a whistle all of a sudden. His wife, however, seems... Well, you've seen Anastasia move before. She's more muscle than finesse. Seems oddly cumbersome now. Will occasionally...
It'd be like,
go ahead.
it's like, it's like, I've been around for almost 500 fucking years. I know a pregnant woman wanna see one.
Yeah. You, Doctor, are well aware of what's going on, as much as she is trying to hide it still.
Mm-hmm.
But with the three of you supporting her, she is able to make it to the city without alerting any of the roving bands of communists. Though there are probably a couple of instances where she really does want to blow her load, so to speak, when she sees a group of a couple of guardsmen surrounded by maybe 30 rebels getting strung up, being yelled at for being fascists. But there is
Bastards.
little choice with your invisibility spells up but to move on. By the time you rise upon the city walls, you can see that, yes, the city does seem to be simmering at the moment, but you are not alone in arriving here. There is a massive column of men arriving from the side of the river leading into the city. Well over 1,000, probably closer to 1,500 men at arms, carrying the banner of the Dawnblades, glorious golds and crimsons raised to the heavens, marching in formation. These are not the weary, tired men who have been fighting along the river for the last years. These are fresh, well-rested, and equipped with the best gear money can buy. Every one of them has plate armor and shield. There are many masterwork weapons gleaming in the light. Clerics and paladins all. marching for the city gates.
Oh shit.
Anastasia will take one look at them and scowl. What is Gold planning? What do you mean waiting while the wall was being built?
These were the forces that were held in reserve while the wall was being built on the other side of this particular land.
You mean
By
over
that guy who's
here?
just been hiding behind them.
Oh no, they are not under his command.
Were they not
Count
like?
Rove?
Yeah, were they not like in Rove's lands?
They came from here.
No.
No.
You say here we're on the city map.
Oh,
right now,
sorry.
we can't see
Let
shit.
me
Yeah, we're in the city
pull
map.
you back to the duchy map.
These are the ones who were at the Tricod.
Yeah,
Church,
they came
aren't
from
they?
here. They're on the way to Rove's lands, but no, his
Right, it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain was like Rove is here. The Tricod is next to the lake. No,
Mm.
no.
my bad. Ignore that.
This is where the wall is, and yeah, Rove has spent the last couple of years really doing the bare minimum
Yeah.
to support the duchy at all, while building a giant wall around all of his lands for no particular reason. Perhaps, as it turns out, somewhat prophetic.
Hmm.
And
I will also
Because of
reiterate
that.
that due to extremely complex and expensive irrigation projects, he also has basically the only really fertile land left.
Yeah.
Town and Verndale are kind of scraping by, but Rove's lands are, well, once they were hard and barren, are now quite prosperous.
in this case, it'd be like, I'd say like if you, I don't think the Chancellor is doing this.
I should hope
We're
not,
gonna,
but my brother's
gonna have
been
to get you in.
suspicious of him for quite some time.
Well, we're gonna have to get you in first. Like, where the Dutch, the keep should be like over this wall.
Yes, we're close. As she says that, the invisibility finally wears off.
Oh, don't worry, we can do it again.
Yep.
Chump chump.
Spend some more resources and start spidray climbing down the walls.
They just
Meanwhile,
walk. So nice.
To Thely's question, he mentioned nothing about any reinforcements from the Trigods. He has said that there is sporadic fighting in the city, but the worst problem is not combat so much as rampant looting. The communists have barricaded off sections of the town, trying to protect themselves from overzealous Dawnblades. But really, it's a combination of the guilds, the poor, the homeless, the communists, just ransacking everything down in Old Town. New Town's holding out just fine, though. Mostly because...
Sorry, you mean redistributing the wealth?
Yes, the wealth of the merchant districts and the high city are being... the old city are being redistributed, while the rich people cower in Hightown, and the refugees in Newtown are basically just being left alone because they don't have anything anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The City Guard are doing their best to hold Hightown and the Keep. That's about the best they're getting. At least until this massive column of Paladins arrives. However, once they arrive, Steve, you're in the position to see first. The moment they encounter any sort of riotous rabble, there is no hesitation, there is no attempt to rout them. The Paladins just start laying into them with fire and brimstone.
Oh. Shit.
Choppy fucking
Yeah.
choppy.
Okay, like move. Okay, we need to move faster. Get you to keep. Hurry.
you book it to the keep. And about this time, from the north section of the city, come Vale and Lord Carr, thundering through the northernmost gates. These lead directly into Hightown, and you too are able to see from the vantage on the hill this column of men just beginning to butcher their way through the old town and towards the keep on the hill. Carr will spit on the ground. That bastard. I knew he'd pull something like this.
Who? The
Golds.
Mr. Gold?
Or the golds in general, I guess.
The Chancellor, Theodrix, they're all in it together. They're all cousins. All a bunch of coin-pulling, manipulating scum. Told Anna not to trust him. And at that, Carr will put his spurs in and throw his horse headlong through the city streets, racing for the keep.
Okay. Well, I'm going with him.
Alright. So, between the people on war horses thundering down the city streets and the people sneaking and the people who are having a vigorous walk through the town, it is probably going to be Vale and Leon who get to the keep first, followed by Steve, at least probably. I'm going to ask for a roll from just Steve in this case. Athletics or stealth to try and make it through the city before the column of Dawnblades make it there.
Well, since we're going just straight over the wall, we just walk into the keep.
Yeah, you do. But again, the keep's not up against the city wall. It is like in the middle of town. There is some distance. It is almost entirely within the hands of the city guard, but it is more just a question of speed rather than safety.
Okay. Okay, I will go with... I'll go with stealth, because at least I have that trait.
Okay.
Maintain, and I can get it higher with the needed.
Alright. You do not. You will arrive there before the Dawnblades do. And last but not, well, actually probably least in this circumstance, as you are scaling the walls into the keep without the notice of anyone who might oppose you, a boat is pulling into the docks. Communists be damned. It is a small, fast clipper from Blackfin Island. A number of red-robed torch-bearing types approach the docks with menacing intent, intending to take captive these bourgeoisie bastards attempting to enter their city. And a gangplank drops down onto the dock, and a four-tailed ginger fox walks down with her thumbs through a belt and a gigantic black great axe slung on her back, followed swiftly by Kate and Mare and Beth.
Oh my.
A number of Leofrics and a bunch of very angry peasants they have brought with them, all armed with crossbows, begin to peer up over the side of the boat.
Oh dear.
And some communists are going to have a very bad time. as Irina Bloodaxe once again earns her name.
Nice.
And yeah, I think that will probably be where we leave off for now. We will resume upon our heroes arriving at the keep. Yes. So, that will be
Nice.
that. Let's do some XP. So, session 46. It is now the 2nd of January. January 2, 1578. So, did you explore a nursing location? Yeah, Vale went to Three Oaks. Got the lowdown on what happened there.
Do we want to, like, count those now? 'Cause I feel like if we count, like, where we went during downtime, then we lose out on Taylortown and Three Oaks for going there later.
And it's not like you explored any other interesting
I'm
locations.
I'm not here to min max any shit. I don't care.
Fair enough.
That doesn't really matter if we get the points now or later.
Yeah.
We'll still get the same amount of points.
No, but, like, if we score in where we went, we can only get one explore location, and there's 2 places we hadn't been.
Eh?
So, like, but
To be fair,
also,
the
like,
person in Taylortown wasn't in this session, so
Yeah.
true.
we learned
I mean,
nothing
Ashe-
about Taylortown.
I'll give Ashes 1 XP on that. I'll have to catch up.
Fair enough.
So, did you discover an interesting truth about the world?
Hell yes.
What?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. I think we've had a pretty broad update on the economic and political spectrum of all of this
Yeah.
place.
I mean, yes, that is factually true. You learned about, in the worst way possible, the long-running communist plot. You have
Mm-hmm.
learned that the
And
Golds
also
may or
learned
may
about
not
the
be
long-running
conspiring to each other.
Dawn Blade plot. Yeah.
Yeah. You certainly
something
know
of
now that Tiana has a daddy.
Yeah.
We've also seen that, like the physical reality of like Karenia's isolationism and Igniferous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Like
also
that's only been like
learned-
vaguely mentioned before. We didn't really know that their economic policy has basically pushed them out of the continent,
Yeah.
northern continent even.
We also learned Dolores' backstory.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be Life of a Companion, there, right?
That hasn't instigated
Well-
change in her
I mean,
life yet. She's just
their promise ring.
Lear-
Yeah, the promise
learning
ring,
about
however, will
it
absolutely
hasn't,
count.
but yeah, the promise ring has.
Yeah.
yes. So, did you advance a completed quest? Yes, you've most certainly
Yeah.
advanced some quests. Did you protect the people of Iona from a deadly threat?
God,
yes. The Theli did a fantastic job. That could have
Yeah,
absolutely
Sally
been a
rolled off,
bloody riot.
rolled her ass off.
I was definitely sweating, and not just because
Yeah.
it's fucking boiling.
Yeah, that could have been dramatically worse. It's
Very
still
bad.
bad,
Yeah.
but it on a scale of
Much
like
better than it could have been.
apocalyptic to walk in the park, it's less apocalyptic
Closer
than
to
it
the
could have
other
been.
one.
Yeah. Hopefully, what I did was prevent, Karenia City from being lost to rebellion immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely a version of this timeline where like Theli fucked up entirely, left with Tiana, the city burns, and then these Dawnblades come in and just either stamp out the fire or light it up.
Yeah.
They could have been the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, to a lot of people, they are still going to come out of this as the heroes.
Oh, yeah, probably
they-
still going
Yeah.
to come out as heroes, yeah.
Yeah, they are taking the bloody-handed
They're here to kill the
approach, but
communists.
yeah, they are butchering communists
Here
in
to
the
get rid
street
of
in
the
the middle of an
communists.
uprising. The people of Hightown especially are going to be just cheering them on.
Yeah.
So, that is 4 so far. Did you instigate lasting change in the world at large, with life of a companion? Yeah, you
Yeah.
slapped a ring on Dolores.
Yeah.
Which is A+ material.
Woo.
Alright, so that is
I have a
5
question.
XP.
I have a
Yes.
question. Yes. Can I kill Dandy as an ally right now?
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yes, he is now not just an ally to Theli personally, but to the party as a whole, through her and Steve's combined actions.
Yay.
It's like, you
Hooray.
did not know it until now, but the Lord General was also your ally in the background, since you saved his
Heck
daughter.
yeah. Nice.
I'm excited to meet him and give him that good old fucking classic wrist-to-wrist clasp of, "Yeah, son
Hell
of
yeah.
a bitch."
Alright, yeah, Kate and Arlene certainly earned their XP as well. And yeah,
They sure as hell did.
Yeah, how much total?
that was 5.
Sweet.
Well done,
What's our new
friendos.
goal? I always fucking forget.
Yeah, let's
Nice.
take a look at some
184.
goals. So, let's see. Ashe already did his stuff a while ago. Steve's is...
Nobody has updated it except for me
Wait,
for the last
long
like.
term. My long term.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Steve's
produce a
not there.
neurogenerative recipe.
oh, yeah. Yeah,
That is a long term.
Nice.
Yeah, it was quickly resolved, but yeah, it was more than a session, so sure. Alright, let's make it 6
Yeah.
XP then. Let me addend my
Hell
Woo.
yeah.
experience.
185.
Hell yeah.
The big 6er.
Right.
Nice.
Sick. So that's 185.
Yep.
Cool. And yeah, what are we aiming for our next level?
210.
210. I'm actually gonna write that down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, so, out of curiosity, do you guys have any idea what you want to do next session, other than react
Well,
to
I
stimuli?
mean, as
I
expected.
guess after- Yeah.
I guess as expected, you massacred our downtime.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I managed to
I,
do
I
what
guess
I
we're gonna
set out
deal
to
with
do.
whatever the fallout of this fuckfest is.
Yeah, deal with this fallout, and then like, I guess depending on how it turns out, like, book it for a carry so that like.
I mean, I feel like we've got to book it for a carry no matter what. So
Yeah.
Whether we can stick out the rest of this fallout, like saving the actual, literal, physical land itself, is more important than just
Yeah.
the city. As much as that sucks
Yeah.
to say.
And also like doing it before winter lets up so that things can grow as soon as winter's done.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
this
like,
dustfall
those
doesn't
melting.
happen because
Important.
it's all well and good them coming to conquer Corania, but I hope they enjoy their empire of dirt if
Yeah.
they don't resolve this. So yeah, whatever the fallout of this fuckfest is, and then off to a carry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also
Agreed.
like 7 days, to level up because I still haven't.
Oh no,
yeah,
you
you
haven't had a
didn't
chance
take-
to. Fuck.
Yeah.
No.
Because
right, yeah, you were
producing
busy
the thing
working on.
was 7 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
It will take because I had 36 days. The research
Well-
took. Listen, the research took. No, we had
Yep,
36 until
20.
the port.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
it took-
28
what did I-
days.
Create the portion took 2, and then the travel to
Yeah.
the island.
Yep. Took 1 each. So you'd have had like
A little-
4 days at best.
Which I couldn't do on the boat
Yeah.
back either.
Yep.
So I would need just a couple of days to.
Well,
Same
depending on like what the fallout of this is, I am like 7-ish days away. So like, depending on how fast you guys like resolve
So,
whatever the fuck is going on right now, you might have some time.
yeah, you might have.
Yeah. Yeah. We will find out, I guess.
Alright, well, in that case, if you're watching on the stream or YouTube, hope you have enjoyed. We will see you on Thursday for Warhammer. Till then, adios, and do take care.
Yeah.